first. My name is Kenneth Bird. My company is Black Series Edition LLC. We do these demonstrations to basically alert and warn customers at the end of the day to be careful of these screen paint products. These are screen paint products at the end of the day that, not saying all of them are like this. There's a lot of screen paint products out there that are absolutely fantastic. But we warn you about these individuals. These are individuals that have been scamming, cheating, and stealing from people for the longest time. This is a fellow who goes by the name of Danny. We call him Danny Boy from time to time, but Danny. He sells something called Partay screen paints, but he says it's not a paint. It's supposed to be a formula. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be this high grade skin that you basically paint to your surface. And we just found out something. So keep in mind, he did this video a while back. I never looked at it because usually I never look at videos. The videos are just full of lies. But in this video, he claims that we lied about a few things in this video. But the funny thing about it is his actual video is here. In this video, he shows 4 different colors, which, again, this is what his whole entire website is based with. The chart is all based off of this one video right here. This is his main video. This is the second video he did to try to basically cover up his mistakes. But something was noticed in the video that was extremely interesting. I sat there and said, when I saw this video, him paint the screen down, I said, look at the water beading off the paint. This has got to be half and half, which means half water and half paint. And anytime you're making a screen paint, you should never have half water in there, because again, this is a watered down product. This is house paint. It's house paint with a lot of water in it. How do we know this? All right, so this is supposed to be the container of one of his screen paints right here. He talks about the polymers basically dropping to the bottom because the water is there to act as a delivery system. No, the water is there to thin out the product, to give it a texture as if it's not paint, but it's something completely different. This is just a watered down house paint. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. This is slop. So you see that dark line right here from here to here? That right there is the paint. You see this light area right here, right around here? That's water. That is how much water he has inside of this container. That's a lot of freaking water. So what he's doing is he's going in, he's getting everyday paints, mixing it probably some black, and he's mixing it with a little black, and he's mixing it with black for the toner, and it's probably white and black paint, and then he's putting water into it to try to make it sound like it's this very thin coating. Actually, at the end of the day, anyone can make this. It's just black and white paint with water. That's all it is. I guarantee you. So if we ever get a chance to get our hands on this product, because again, it's been extremely difficult due to the fact that he's canceled all $700 of our orders, put the money back in our account because he doesn't want us to have it, because he knows we definitely will figure it out. And the shopping carts are always closed, constantly closed. So you're charging $160 for watered down paint. That's what it is. I couldn't figure out why. I kept seeing the same comment. Some other people were picking it up, and the forum site we put in, they kept saying watercolors. It's nothing but watercolors. And I'm like, what the frick are they talking about by watercolors? And I see it now. I didn't see it at first, but I see it now. When he picked up the container, and when he was stirring the paint up, I said, that's a lot of water in that container. That is all water in there. We gotta slow this down in slow motion, because I want to see when he picks up the container, I want to see that water shift and move. So let's go over to the video and let's slow it down. Let's slow it down. So mute his voice. I'm gonna go back. I want to show you. That is crazy that much water is sitting in that container. Now you see the water shifting? That is all water. He tried to distort the image here. You see, we tried to distort the image here because why would you need to block that out when you were clearly showing the side of the container right here? Watch this. See right here? He's blocked all this out right here. Why would you block this out? We just saw this on the camera. We no need to block this out. We all saw this on the side. There's no need to block out what's on the container. This is a paint container. Why would you need to cover a name of a paint container? I need to zoom this up a little bit on here. Now see right here, this is where he blocks it out because he realizes is how much water you can see that's actually in his paint. So when it comes closer to the camera, he blocks it, this area right here. He's already shown it on camera what it is, so there's no need to block that section out. That's so you can't see the side of the container and see how much water's in there. See, right there. No need to block that out. He did that, and you can still see the water right here. This is, we can still see the water right there. That's all water. But he blocked out this side because he didn't want you to see how much water was in there. But you could, the customer, people that were watching the site could automatically see it right from the door. I know how to make your product now. It's nothing but black and white paint with water in it. That's all it is. That's all it is, Partay. Nothing but black and white paint with water in it. And when you open your shopping cart up finally, I will be in there to buy it. Or one of my friends will be getting it for me. So that way we can bring it down here and do the exact same thing. It's just a half and half. That's all it is. So it's black and white paint with a half and half with water. Now we got the room open. He can come in anytime he wants to, and he can talk with us and explain this to us. Anytime you want to, you can come in here and you can explain why your container is showing half paint and half water here and here. Water paint. Literally selling your customers nothing but water paint. That's why it wouldn't take to the surface. Stuff is paint at the end of the day. Or it's not a paint. It's basically, it's you, man, you gotta stop lying so much. You gotta stop lying so much. That's all freaking water from here all the way here. This is where the paint's at. That's water from here to here. That's half and half. I knew when I was looking, I was like, that's a half and half right there. So basically, you're buying from this guy, I guarantee I can tell you exactly what it is. A black and white paint mixture, that's what it is. I can tell you that right from the door. And it has a lot of water into it. And the reason why he puts the water into it, they probably try to make it look like it has a different texture to it. That's all. It's nothing special. Another gimmick, another scam, as always. You're going to the blacklist for this. Because that's a serious scam right there. Look at this. Look at this. That's definitely water.
Oh, I'll cover them off just in little bits here, but you can see this is one container that I'm making here. Doesn't matter which mixture it is. If I remember correctly, I was using Vega Plus here. But really doesn't matter because it's one container. It'll be one 48-ounce container of one product.
Now I want you to listen to this lie he tells. He says that he never said 4 colors were involved. He never said there's going to be 4 containers. Of course, he never said it was 4 containers, but basic common sense from anybody at the end of the day would know that it's going to be 4 containers if you have 4 different colors of paint. You can't stick them all in one container because it's not going to go well. But I want you to listen to this right here. We just found out something interesting. We found out his product is half and half. So basically it's water paint. That's what it is. But I want you to hear this lie.
Specifically, the lies that Crystal Edge Technology Screens has actually put out about Partay's products and the application process. So I'll cover them off just in little bits here, but you can see this is one container that I'm making here. Doesn't matter which mixture it is. If I remember correctly, I was using Vega Plus here. But really doesn't matter because it's one container. It'll be one 48-ounce container of one product. You don't get 4 different containers. You don't get 4 48s, which is what he's told you out there, that you'll get 4 different containers. You'll do one coating from each container, and each one of those is a little bit different from the other. That's a complete damn lie.
So he says you
It's
get
one 48-ounce.
So he says it's 148. He said that when he made the product, this is where it's always been. It's 148 container, and it's no colors involved.
You're used to hearing the whenever people are rolling it, right? So the formula is not going to be like that. You will see how it works. But I just wanted to tell you that if we have a surface that has a good bit of texture on it, and you'll be able to pick up that texture.
Question I got to ask. In this video right here where you're explaining your instruction, this is when it's based on your website because you got the chart and everything attached to it. You're putting the line across the screen, which you didn't do on the other one. This has been completely different, but this is based off your website. This one you said the first coat is put on to put in some kind of application to make it smoother for texture, for painting, the rest of the coats on. So what is the difference between this, what you said right here, and the one you're showing? Is that an application that's putting painted on to optimize the screen? That doesn't make any sense. It's all the same color, which means it's all the same paint. So what would be different from one from the other in that application? Yeah, you'd be in a lot of trouble with a form site with me, buddy. Right? He said it didn't come in different colors. That's what he said, right? No different colors. That's what he claims at the bottom. All right. First color. All right. That's the first one. Paints this one in. All right. Completely different color. Now let's go back in again.
Same thing that happened last time.
Another
Just
color.
try to
That's
move
2
this
colors.
Around, get your roller getting wet, just kind of going back and forth across. As if you just go across your panel there, you'll.
That's another color right there. All right. Let's keep going. Let's keep guess with 2 colors we just counted just now. All right. Three. That's 3 now. Each one of these that hit the surface is a different color. So now we got 3 colors. But you just said right here that you said you didn't say anything about colors at all, period. Right? That's what you said, right?
Container of whichever product you of those is a little bit different from the other. That's a complete damn lie. It's one 48-ounce container of whichever product you choose, and you're going to do 4 applications, 4 coats, right? So you can see that I'm stirring the material here. I'm going to pour it on out there, that you'll get 4 different containers. You'll do 1 coating from each container, and each one of those is a little bit different from the other. That's a complete damn lie.
What the heck is that? You do know they're not the same color, right? I'm pretty sure you know colors and shades, right? That's not the same color. That's 4 different individual colors. So how would you be shipping this at the end of the day? I mean, room's open, Partay. You can come in anytime you want to and talk. It's open. How would you be, and at the end of the day, how would you be shipping this? If you said it came in 1 coat, then maybe that video right there should be up here, but that video can't be there because she's doing the video as you have in the chart. You have this special particular way it has to be poured onto the screen. And this little line here. You're not even doing that in the second one. You're just pouring it in. I don't know what's the worst, man. The fact that you lie and you don't even really know your own instructions, the fact you think people are stupid, you can get over on them, and the fact that your product is just basically just half water and half paint. I can tell your product is made right from the door. It's black and white paint. You have a black and white paint mixture and you dumped about half of water in it. That's what you did. I know how to make your product. Why do you even bother buying it now? I can make your product, but I'm going to show you how much I can make your product. If your shopping cart ever opens up, if you ever are man enough to open it up, we'll place the order for it. Matter of fact, to make sure we get it, I'll have somebody else do it, because if you see my name, you might get scared and cancel out like he did this 7 times when we placed the order. And that's what he did. He canceled out 7 times, put the money back in their account because he's afraid. So that's 3 right there. All right. That's 3 right there.
We're going to just let this set for a second, come back. We'll put it in front of the fan there, let it dry, and then we'll be back. All right, guys, we're back. And so we're going for the 4th and final coat.
Look at the color of it. All right, so that is the color of the 4th and final coat. That looks about the same color of the 4 colors you just put down for the one screen down there. But these are different colors. They're not the same color. How are these the same color? You just sat there and said that you said nothing about 4 different colors, and we have them right here. Gee whiz. Honest, I gotta figure this out right here. How dumb do you think your customers are at the end of the day? Anybody with common sense would look at this video and look at that video and tell the difference. How dumb do you think people are at the end of the day? You guys don't live in reality. That's the problem. You don't live in the world of reality. Anybody can put this together. As a matter of fact, we posted it to a forum site. I make copies of these just in case you try to make them disappear. We got copies of these and we post them to a forum site. And the first thing people kept asking were, you guys, we get that a lot if you guys are slow. Why wouldn't you think anybody wouldn't think this? Are these the same color? Partay asked this question. Are these the same color? Is light gray and dark gray the same color? I'm curious, because for some reason you must think they are. So how would I ship these 2 items? Say it was just these 2 items. How would I ship them? Would I ship them in the same container, or would I ship them in 2 different containers? How would I ship that? It'd be 2 containers. That's how it would work. Gee whiz, you guys are stupid. So that would involve 4 containers, which means you would have to have 4 containers. And this video is based off everything you have up here, including the chart. Because in that video, you were following the guidelines, but pouring out to the chart. Here, you didn't do that. On top, as I said before, water paint. Let's listen to his lies.
You don't get 4 different containers. You don't get 4 48s, which is what he's told you out there, that you'll get 4 different containers. You'll do 1 coating from each container, and each one of those is a little bit different from the other. That's a complete damn lie. It's 1 48-ounce container of whichever product you choose, and you're going to do 4 applications, 4 coats, right? So
now, if that's the case, what you're saying, that means you painted 4 different screen paints onto one screen and display that? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. You're saying you took 4 different individual screen paints from your collection and you painted all of them to a screen. What would be the purpose of that one? Yeah.
So you can see that I'm stirring the material here. I'm going to pour it on and paint it in just a moment. But let's talk first about why would Ken come up with that? Why would he state that? Because that was never stated.
Now, you notice that when he painted the screen down, did he do the straight line on the chart that he had his wife do? He was very particular about how she painted in that screen, and it had to have this line painted across. It had to be anywhere from 2 inches to so many inches wide. He was very particular about that. But in here, he just splats it on, which means he doesn't follow his own instructions. He's just making it up as he goes along. Didn't follow that part at all. But look how thin the product is. The reason why the product is thin, because majority of it is water.
Anywhere within any of our videos, not once have we said that you would get 4 containers. We said that you would do 4 applications. Now, that's not a misconstruence because it was never actually stated. It's just a lie. It's just a smear to try to scare people away from buying a Partay product by using things from a video that were never
Actually, it is your video, and you did show 4 different colors. So yes, you would need 4 containers to ship those colors. That's basic common sense. I got to ask you at the end of the day, do you even know math? Because that's kind of, you couldn't get that right. So you see how the paint's having a very difficult time coating the surface? It's because it's watered down. If you water down a paint, what happens is it makes it, like if you have like a black wall or different color wall, whatever, you don't prime the surface first. What happens is a watered down paint is going to allow whatever's on the other side to push through easily because again, it's a watered down product. Just like if you watered down ketchup, you watered down syrup. Same thing, it's still syrup at the end of the day, it's still ketchup, it's just watered down. This is house paint. It's just watered down. You see how it's having a hard time covering the black surface, but if the surface was primed, you wouldn't be able to see it.
Actually stated and making up his own little story to try to make it sound like it's going to be super complicated and also that the whole thing was a lie. That's not the truth. So no 4 containers, no 4 colors. And as you can see,
Yeah, hearing him say, he said no 4 colors. Even though we just watched a demonstration of him basically instructing his wife on very careful instructions that were extremely important, and we saw 4 colors being applied to the screen. So either we're colorblind or he's a liar.
the application.
And I'm not colorblind.
Now, I'm actually going back and forth on this first panel a lot more because at the time I was actually doing the narration as a part of the video.
Another lie. You can narrate and paint a screen. I've seen painters do it all day long. They'll sit there and joke, laugh, and do whatever, and they will paint in a perfect wall. The paint's going to apply or whatever. The paint's not going to be effective because you're talking. It's not. It's going to paint. As a matter of fact, if you're painting the wall and you're talking, and you're not paying attention, and you happen to roll over your TV or whatever's in the way, guess what? It's going to apply because it's paint. It's not going to apply correctly because you're having a conversation. Excuses.
And so I was talking and just kind of going back and forth, and right there I realized I've just been going back and forth. So essentially you just want to coat the screen with the material and then go back and do a pressured roll, a full pressured roll up and down. And then you're going to come back, and what I'm doing here is I'm doing half over.
Now, the reason why you have to do all that nonsense because there's water in it. That's why. It's very hard for the product to apply to the surface. This is why it requires multiple coats. Because the first application you put in is going to look trashy as I don't know what. And it is because there's a lot of water in it. The other one where he was doing, the paint was pushing all over the screen. If you notice, it didn't have the same reaction when he painted the first application on it. He did the first video. And that one, the paint was smearing and pushing all over the place, which means it was oil in there.
3 easy steps. Coat the surface, do a pressured roll to spread or make sure that the material is thinned out. And then you're going to come back and do your soft roll half over.
Now, you see how ugly the surface looks right here?
If you look here, you can see that you're not...
You see this nasty looking surface? This comes from you have too much water in the paint. We have a lot of water in paint. This means that you basically have broken down the paint's ability to be able to marry to the surface.
Getting a uniform...
See those beads right there? That's water beads. That's what it is. He said there were bubbles releasing oxygen. No, that's water beads.
Form color. And that's not the point. That's the difference. That's where this varies from a paint. That you're not looking to try to get a uniform coat the first time out of the gate.
I think that's what you would want first time out of the gate is a uniform coat. I don't think you want to sit there and see your screen with all these little water bubbles all over it.
What our consumers know is that all you need to do is follow the instructions. Follow the instructions, and in your 4 coats, you're going to end up
That is a paint. That's definitely a paint that has so much water in it that it can't marry to the surface. That is pretty bad. That is extremely bad. And that's because Partay's screen paints are nothing more than black and white paint mixed with a lot of water. That's it. That's what we got here for time.
having a uniform color, uniform look about the screen. But you're going to put on 4 applications because you're building an optical layering system. No one ever said anything about
You're building an optical layer, aka you have to paint the screen 4 times because it won't take. That's why. If house paint can do the exact same thing with 1 coat, keep in mind, why would you even buy this to begin with? It's the same color. It's basically network gray 773. And it looks like we have software gray would match this also too. But that's water. That's water and paint.
fusion. There was never any conversation about layers needing to fuse. Okay, so we'll come back to that in just a few. But you can see that this is now dried, and you can see the pattern's still there. Everything's still there from the first coat. And then we're going to do a second coat. Okay, and you just follow the same instructions. Now,
Now I'm
the
curious.
reason that Ken feels so threatened.
Curious when I know this. If this is how your paints are painted in, right? This is how they're done. What the heck is this? Why would you have your wife come up there and paint this screen, do the detail instructions, have it match this chart you have right up here? What's this about? What's this video for? Can't explain it, can you? Mic's open. We got the mic open for him to come in. Danny, anytime you want to come in and say something, you can't say anything because you can't back up what you're saying. You're a liar. That's why I opened the mic for you. I thought I was going to bring y'all in, open the mic. What's the purpose of this video then? What's this for? If this has nothing to do with your product, then why is it based on everything on your site? What's the difference? Why? So you just waste everybody's time by just going and doing a fake demonstration on basically putting multiple coats onto a screen and blah, blah, blah. This is all fake. This has nothing to do with anything on the website, but yet there's a chart up here matching exactly what you're telling your wife to do in the demonstration. What's the purpose of this then? You never said. Oh, you definitely said.
Threatened by this is because, once again, as you saw in yesterday's video, where he was trying to state that once you paint a very soft and stretchy material, that it's going to get hard and you're never going to get it back over a frame. That is a lie, at least for Partay products. For paint, I agree with that.
You're going to have a headache painting this down to a surface because it has a lot of water in it. If it's having a difficult time hitting that surface right there, it's not even covering it. Look at that. Look how much of the black paint is pushing through. That's because there's a lot of water in the paint. That's why you're going to have an extremely nightmare painting. You're going to streak the daylights out of a screen. The ability that this paint had to be able to be streak proof, one coat covering, he destroyed all that when he put water in it.
Because paint will stiffen. That's what paint does. You get paint chips. You'll never get a chip out of this. This will never get hard enough to chip.
It won't get hard enough because there's a lot of water in it. That's why.
It's a flexible material. That's what it's designed to do. And it terrifies him because he can't understand what's happening with the product. And I'm saying it again because he only knows paint and color. That's the only things. So he decided that it was in his best.
So let me get this straight. The fact that I know own more projectors, built more screens, have developed your gray screen paint, gunmetal, and black technology, have companies like Screen Innovation. I only know paint and color, really, at the end of the day. You guys don't even match my tests. I asked you guys to do a basic gray on gray test. We do black on black tests all day. What's the difference between your product and gray sheets, gray construction paper, gray paint products? What's the difference? We don't see any of that. So, but then again, the funny part about this is he literally has a video over here telling one story, showing four colors, and something completely different here. And you didn't follow the instructions. You were very on point on how you wanted your wife to pour this in, but you didn't even follow them over here. So is this fake or is this fake? But even more funnier, just seeing that container and all that water. Gee whiz, this is nothing but a watered down black and white paint powder product. And if your shopping cart ever opens up, as you claim you're so busy, if you ever open the shopping cart up, I'm not going to come get your product. I'm going to have one of my friends pick it up. We're going to get it down here, and I guarantee I'll make your product. It's black and white paint with water. That's all it is. That's all. It's nothing special.
Best interest as a competitor to lie about another competitor's application process, as well as the product itself.
Look at the line he put here and what he instructed his wife to put here. What did you have in your instructions here? You said that here. Roller texture. She's rolling this in. Had to be a particular size that you wanted her to roll in.
White I have in the house, so I use what I have. But it's got a lot of texture. I just put enough, if you can make it out there, there's little places in it, right? So I just put enough on here to give you an example because
I got copies of both your videos. We're gonna put them side by side on the blacklist, including that watered down
You'll
mess.
also notice that there's texture on here because of the roller that I used, and this is really thick, gloppy paint. You're used to hearing the whenever people are rolling it, right? So the formula is not going to be like that. You will see how it works. But I just wanted to pick up that texture whenever we do our display. And the reason for that is because this formula acts as a skin. Now
you told her to paint in a 2 inches wide, but it's 3 right there. You even have a chart showing you how this has to be painted in. But in the demonstration below, you didn't do that at all. You did that. So that's not important. At the end of the day, that's a bunch of nonsense. You don't have to put no line down. He even has a chart on how much paint and how much you pour down the line per cup. That's a bunch of crap. This whole entire thing is based off this entire demonstration below, which is the first one, the original demonstration he tried to do. And it found out at the end of the day it wasn't working out so well because, again, as I said before, you'd have to make 4 different individual paints. And if you made 4 different individual paints, this would cost you a lot of money, and you would be way over your mark of $160, which means you couldn't make a profit. Then you come in and you say, no, I never said that. I never said anything about any different colors. I never said anything about any containers. Well, common sense, even if you didn't say anything about any containers, you still would have to have 4 containers, dum-dum. You know how that works, right? You go to Home Depot, you ask for 3 screen paints, then I'll stick them, 3 paints, then I'll stick them into 1 container. You get 3 containers. Common sense, basic common sense. Gee whiz. So why in the world are you instructing your wife with these really strict instructions that she has to paint this line, and in here you got this mess going on right here? And you're going to say you never said it's not a paint, it's a skin? No, dude, it is freaking black and white paint with a lot of water in it. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. And I didn't see it at first. I don't know why I didn't see it at first. But the person in the form sites kept saying watercolors. And I'm like, what the frick are they talking about by watercolors? Because I didn't see any watercolors at all, him being using watercolors. And I'm looking right here at the container, and there it is.
As promised,
water.
To cover the lies, and I say that specifically.
So basically, we back this up a little bit here. This is where you'll see it on the camera.
Hey folks, standing here at Partay, and today I am here, as promised, to cover the lies, and I say that specifically.
There you go. This is what they found. You said your paint is like a polymer sink to the bottom, right? All we know, paint always sink to the bottom if it's mixed with something that it's not. This and this is paint. This and this is water, which means half of your product is water. I sat there and said it on camera. It's a half and half because the way the paint water was beading up off the paint, I wasn't covering correctly. That's half water and half paint. So what he did was he took a black and white paint mixture and he put water in it. Now, if you notice, the other one he painted in, the paint was smearing all over the surface. This is what happens when you put oil into your paint or any kind of like oil-like substance in your paint. It has that kind of texture to it. That's what it does. For you to sit there and say you never said that, we have an ingredients from your YouTube channel, with your website at the bottom, and an ingredients on how to make black paint. And one of the ingredients is body gel, which is oil. And then you sit there and say you never said 4 colors. Well, what the freak is that going on up there? Come on, man. You got to stop lying so much. The fact that we know how to make your products now. It's water. That's all it is. So that's why I keep saying it's a thin coating. It's not a paint. It's something completely different. No, it's paint. It just has water in it. That's all. That's why it has that weird reaction when he paints it in. It doesn't cover the black surface at all, as you can see. And it has this kind of beaded look to it. That's the water that's basically not marrying well to the paint. That's what that is. This is what you're seeing. And I'm going to show you, Jamie. I'm going to show you, Partay, if we get your product down here, because for some reason, like I say, he can't seem to open up his shopping carts. When we get it down here, I'm going to mimic that exact same demonstration you just did. I'm going to take black and white paint. I'm going to put about a half of water in it. I'm going to mimic the exact same demonstration you just did. That's nothing more than black and white paint with water. If you have any test demonstrations, you can show me that make that product different from anyone else. So, match anything we have in our test demonstrations. Go in there and do any of them. Big screens, you can paint that to a large screen. That'd be a mess. That's nothing but that's mess. That's it. It's like watching your kids go into the kitchen and make some kind of food. It's a mess. That's all it is. That's slop. That's no screen paint. You wrote all that nonsense in there for slop. That's what it is. Water and black and white paint. That's all you did. That's like people adding water to tomato sauce to stretch it out. That's literally what you just did in this demonstration. That's why you don't back up in your test demonstrations. Number one, you can't back our test demonstrations up because you don't have black technology. You can't even pull 100% contrast. You're in dark environments. You have no certified demonstrations. How many certified screens have you tested this on? How many different versions of gray screen paints have you tested it on? How many different versions of projectors have you tested? Nothing. And that demonstration on the Optima GT55, please, I was outside with that bad boy. When we get the P2 over here, we're going to show Jamie at the end of the day how that thing operates. I'm going to buy your screen paint, bring it over here, and watch your screen wash out on a 2,000,000 to 1 contrast projector. No dark environments, no little bit of light peppered in the background. You'll be in a fully lit environment at 150 inches. You guys are jokes at the end of the day. This is trash. That's nothing but watered down paint. That's all it is. It's trash.
Follow the instructions, and in your 4 coats, you're going to end up having a uniform.
You see that beaded look to it? That's a lot of water.
Color, uniform.
How in the world is it? It's covering here. You know why? Because this started off to be gray. That's why. That's why it's covering. It's like camouflaging itself into this already gray surface. But this is black. It can't even cover the black correctly on the first coat. That's pretty bad. So, Partay, this is where we got you. We got you lying in the video. Clearly lying. As we can see over top, there are 4 coats involved. Which one of these are the real demonstrations? Bigger question. What's the purpose of this demonstration? If this one really doesn't exist, then what's going on here? Or is this the real one? And why do you have the entire website based off this demonstration is based right here? What's going on here? This is all over the place. This doesn't make any sense. What happens is, this is what happened, people. This is the original instructions. Partay tried to come in and clean the mess up by making this demonstration. But again, was dumb enough not to realize that, guess what? Bingo, this is showing 4 colors. And anyone with common sense who lives on planet Earth knows if you're going to have 4 colors, you're going to have 4 different containers. They don't put it all in one. We've all bought paint before. Every last one of us has bought paint. How many of you go into Home Depot and say, hey, give me red, blue, green, and yellow? Put it all in one container. Where does that even work at the end of the day? You're going to get 4 containers of paint. And in fact, he's going to sit there and say, I never said complete lies, and the video's right there. You sound like, I swear to buddy, my friend put it so perfectly. You remember Charlie Murphy, his brother, the stories about Rick James, how he claimed that Rick James walked into his house with these muddy cowboy boots and basically grind his muddy cowboy boots into the couch. And they're interviewing Rick James, and Rick James says, what I sound, I'm a grown man walking into Eddie's house and grinding my muddy cowboy boots all into his couch. And then a couple of minutes like, yeah, I did it. I put my boots. He can buy another one. He's rich. Literally, that's just what you just did in this demonstration. You literally just did that. Gee whiz. Screen paint is a heck of a drug. You literally just did that. You sat there and said, you never said anything about colors. It's right there. My goodness. All right, let's go look at the rest of this mess.
Look about the screen. But you're going to put on 4 applications because you're building an optical layering system. No one ever said anything about fusion. There was never any conversation about layers needing to fuse. Okay, so we'll come back to that in just a few. But you can see that this is now dry, and you can see the pattern still there. Everything's still there from the...
That is awful. That looks downright awful. It looks chipped and flaky. That's what it looks like. I'd be scared to death to put that on a motorized projection screen if that was a reaction that came out.
First coat, and then we're going to do a second coat. Okay, and you just follow the same instructions.
All right, so I'm going to put in 4 coats of the same color paint. The only time people do that, unless they buy a paint that has a really bad coverage, that's what they do. You go to Home Depot, you buy paint, you paint in the room, they're going to say, look, there's 2 ways you can go about that. You can buy the more expensive stuff, you're going to coat it one time, you're done. Or you're going to buy the cheap stuff and you're going to do multiple layers just to cover the surface, because whatever's on the other side is definitely going to be pushing through. We all been down that road. You buy the cheap stuff, you're in there painting forever. You buy the expensive stuff, you're only doing one coat, you're finished, and you're done. This is what's going on with this. That's why it's requesting you to paint the same color over and over again, because it doesn't take the first, the second. It takes multiple coats for it to cover in. That's why.
Now, the reason that Ken feels
Paint's
so
too
threatened
thin,
by
that's
this
why.
is because, once
Too
again,
much water.
as you saw in yesterday's video, where he was trying to state that once you paint a very soft and stretchy material, that it's going to get hard and you're never going to get it back over a frame. That is a lie, at least for Partay products. For paint, I agree with that, because paint will stiffen. That's what paint does. You get...
Well, paint won't stiffen if you put a bunch of water in it, and that's what you did. You dropped a bunch of water, and this is the reason why we only do one coat application, and we're done, and you have to do 4 applications on your product. Keep in mind, he doesn't ever mention about the 5th coat. Have you heard the theory on the 5th coat? If you paint the screen a 5th time, it gets slightly brighter, even though you're using the same paint. But we'll get to that one.
Chips. You'll never get a chip out of this. This will never get hard enough to chip. It's a flexible material. That's what it's designed to do. And it terrifies him because he can't understand what's happening with the product. And I'm saying it again because he only knows paint and color. That's the only things. So he decided that it was in his best interest as a competitor to lie about another competitor's application process, as well as the product itself, because you hear him consistently say that my product is nothing more than house paint. Now, I would remind you that Kenneth has never seen a Partay product face to face. He's never had it.
Now, why wouldn't we have never had it? Maybe it's because we put in $700 worth of orders for your product, and you canceled all the orders and gave us back our money. That shows a person who is scared. And yet, I'm still waiting for you to place an order from our website. You haven't ordered anything from us ever. Still waiting for that. Maybe it's if you're afraid to put your address in because you're afraid we're going to find out where you live at. We're going to figure that out either way. You got to go to court anyway. We still got to pay to get that done. So, again, $700 worth of canceled orders. So, again, how are we going to get a hold of our product? Right now, if I want to buy your product, I can't buy it. Your shopping carts are locked. If I want one of my friends, even if I buy it myself, it gets canceled. We can't buy anything from him. He's afraid to ship it over. We got nothing but canceled orders from him. So that's not going to happen. So we have to get somebody else to buy it. Isn't that kind of jacked up? I have to go get somebody else to buy the product because they're too afraid to ship it out. And they can't buy it because his shopping carts are always closed. For a person who makes a statement about, oh, we're going to get back to that one right there. It's Saturday today, right? Okay, let's see. This is going to be interesting. Let's keep this going.
So how would he know that it's just a house paint? But that's what he's doing. He's definitively stating that it's nothing more than a house paint. Now, folks, he's also definitively told you that it contains Vaseline.
Oh, man, it gets so easy. It's not even funny. Where is it? Is it here? This is the do-it-yourself. Yes, this is it right here.
I don't care how much you stir this. You're always going to have these lumps of fragments in it.
Did we, how far did we go back? Get the ingredients for this.
Yep.
So this is Partay's paint. He shows you how to make for free. This is what he was making first. It didn't sell too well because the paint was hot spotting like freaking crazy. It was smearing. People were having problems applying it to the surface. It was a mess. And the reason why, because he keeps putting oil or some kind of, I don't know why he keeps sticking it in there, because what it does, it causes the screen to basically hotspot. That first coating, the one you saw in the other demonstration, that's one of the screen paints. This is it right here. This is how it's made.
This is nasty.
It's nasty. It's so nasty.
Bad mumbo jumbo.
See, I was having a hard time grappling to the paint. Do we have the whatchamacallit
This
one
one
here?
right here doesn't even blend well. There's all kinds of lumps. You see, the problem
Lumps and bumps and bumps along. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Oil and water does not mix. We all know that one. And they might not have showed you what's going on inside of it, but that's not going to mix.
I got to remember where we saw that on the whatchamacallit.
You're gonna have these lumps.
I'll go back here a bit. Here we go. Go back here. You don't remember? You got amnesia? I think seriously, might have amnesia. Something's kicking in there. It's not working right. Because how in the world do you say that you never said anything about colors, and we're seeing colors up there? You never said anything about containers. Well, even if you didn't say anything about containers, common sense would know you'd have to have 4 containers in order to ship that out. That's just basic common sense. And then sit there and say that your product is a skin. It's not. You can clearly see in the container where the water and the paint separates, and that is a lot of water in there. That is half water and half paint. So what you have is you have black and white paint with a lot of water. And if we finally get an open shopping cart from you, I'm gonna have one of my friends buy. As a matter of fact, better yet, I'm gonna put the dogs to your front door. What I mean by that is I'm gonna have a bunch of people waiting on your shopping carts to open up so we can buy your stuff, get it down here, and I guarantee I make your product. I guarantee I know how to make it now. I know exactly what it is. We knew it was black and white paint, but that thin texture had to be something. And when I saw the water, I was like, gee whiz, that's how much water's in there? Yeah, we can make your stuff. Anybody can make your stuff. I'll send it back to you. Put it against your screen, see what happens. You got freaking water paint. Do you have any idea what that stuff is going to do to the motor on your freaking projection screen? I've never seen them do a roll up and roll down on the screen ever.
Right. So, bottom line is, a little bit more.
Now, you're definitely going to have some problems.
Yeah.
This is how his black paint's made.
No. You know why you should look at the ritual farm. Wow, could have just poured the whole thing in there. Duh. Sorry about that, I just could have poured the whole thing in there. Alright. And it's asking for, let me see, alright, 2 cups of black paint. Cups of black paint. Alright. I can't tell you for doing this stuff. That's all for science. So let's go here. Let's grab something because I don't want to do the whole teeth thing.
Now, while we're waiting for that to come up, let's talk about our P2 coming in. I'm trying to figure out how we're going to do the 100. I want the 160-inch screen. But if we're doing a P2, this is ultra short though, that surface has to be perfectly flat. If not, we're going to get all kinds of imperfections. We don't want that. So I'm going to have to do 150 inch. It's still bigger than what the projector can do, but the surface that we can get as spandex material is 150 inch. That is going to take a multi-coat application to do it. So we're just going to build our own kind of micro thin fixed frame screen that is going to have, well, we did one with the 129 inch downstairs when we did that one. So we're going to take that spandex material, staple around the frame, and then we're going to do multiple coats of network grade 773. I like that stuff. That stuff goes on perfect. It's smooth, and it's great for stiffening the screen.
Basically body gel.
I remember when Crow did that demonstration with the network grade 773, and he said he is right about one thing: it does make a good primer. Well, knowing that your product did match, your product also too makes a good primer. You didn't realize that. Next time, before you go brimming with confidence, test yourself out, so that way you don't worry about ending up in that situation. That's what happened with him in that nonsense. He didn't test out his products, and he ended up burning himself in a live stream. Ugh, that stuff is nasty. That body gel is nasty. Partay, you want to come in here? You want to write this check today? You want to come in here and state that that's not your ingredients? You want to write the check? Because I'll cash it for you. Just like Crow came in and made that dumb statement about how my screen wasn't 100. It was 110 inches. You want to cash that check? The mic is open. Come in anytime you want to. I don't care if you come in with a different account. Don't care. Come in here and explain this mess. This lies you're telling. It doesn't come in different colors. And what the heck is that over top of the demonstration? Why is your entire website based off that video? Now in this one, he was telling people that the reason why you put the Vaseline in because it acts as some kind of system. Boom. Right here. We stopped this at 11:53 in the video. Perfect. We know exactly where it's at. Isn't this you, Partay? You said in the video, you said nothing about ever putting oils and stuff in your product. What is body gel? Body gel is oil. It's an oil like kind of Vaseline. But you just sat there and said that you never said anything about that, right? So he put this out because he thought that he was making our product. How, first of all, Partay, you could make my product if your finger was stuck up your nose. And I mean, all the way up to scratching your brain at the end of the day. You don't have the common sense to make my product. We made that product. We stuck it against an 8. The 8 beat the crap out of it. Not only that, it came up too dark and it smeared all over. And I had to throw away my rollers because that stuff was saturated in my rollers. Everything that stuff hit, we had to basically scrub the floor down with. Hot water didn't help. There's a headache cleaning that stuff up, and God forbid, don't paint that stuff if it gets on your carpet. Oh, it's a mess because there's oil in it. It's hard to clean. But anyway, you call yourself making my product and giving it away. That's why it says please share. And now you deny this at all? That you never did this demonstration? We made it. We did it right on camera. You think at the end of the day, I'm going to fear you or anyone trying to make my product? Go ahead and make it. I'll buy your product and bring it over here. 2 options will happen. You'll fail when you come over here, or you'll cancel out and give me back my money. We made your product. And you know what's sad about this? And 2020, him and Crow get on camera and they give me this challenge. They say, here, if you feel that, your product is the best, we challenge you to make this. I was like, gee whiz, you guys are so stupid. I'm tired of freaking embarrassing you on YouTube. We did it already. We made it. We made this product already. I sent them over the test results. Neither one of them said anything at all. That's just as almost as embarrassing as when Partay claimed we canceled orders from him. Walked around his backyard. Grown man, another lie, telling another lie. Walking around his backyard and we canceled order. And then Crow's basically in his dark apartment talking about, he's like a dog behind a fence. You know what I mean? You give him, you open the gate up and he licks your fingers. Yeah, you're going to see me face to face. You'll see what kind of dog I am. I can't wait to see you. I really can't. As a matter of fact, more importantly, I can't wait till the court case is over. I'm coming outside. You'll see me again. You'll see me. Trust me. But we'll see how that works out. Anyway, let's get back to this. So, you said I'm a dog behind the gate. I just wet myself, right? That's what you said? Well, funny thing about it is we got $1,900 worth of cancel orders from you and another $700 from Partay. So Partay, I embarrassed him literally so badly. I got to find that video, the 404 error that he pulled the site down. That not only when you made that comment, I went in and placed the order right there on the spot. What happened? Canceled order. What happened? Canceled order. Went back in, canceled, ordered again. You closed down your website for a couple of months, popped it open again, went and ordered from you again. You closed it down again. Came in and ordered again in January. Kept coming in placing orders, and you just kept basically giving us back our money. And then you want to get on camera and cry and whine that we don't have your product. We don't have your product because you can't ship it out to us because you're afraid. And that's your ingredients right there for your black paint, which we made. So, you guys said that I sent some email over with all this cursing and carrying on, and this was supposed to be me at the end of the day. Find out it came from Partay because he was dumb enough to have his Instagram account, his website, and his Facebook attached to it with his company's name on it. I can't even call it a company at the end of the day. Yeah, you sent the email to us because you're mad and talking about how you're going to send me the court or nonsense. I'm still waiting for this. 2 days, get your attorney to contact me. I'm still waiting on that. But anyway, let's get back to this right here. So you guys said that I canceled orders and that's what happened. Well, I still haven't seen the receipts. I'm still waiting for the receipts for my canceled orders. I haven't seen them yet. But I got $700 of yours. Open up that shopping cart. I'll make it 8. That's Crow crying right now. Anytime you see that notification goes off, that's crying Crow over there crying right now on our site. Just crying. Hey Crow, can you explain to us about the Google pictures? What's going on with the Google pictures? Is your paint that bad off that you got to go take pictures from Google? Explain that. Matter of fact, anybody can go to your site right now and check it out for themselves. Go over to Crow's website and go check out the 2.0. Look at the chili peppers. If he hasn't tried to remove it off his account already, go over there. Matter of fact, we'll make that a challenge. You want me to make that a challenge? I'll have people flood your site right now. Matter of fact, when we put it on the forum site, they were over in your site checking that out. taking pictures from Google. Come on, man. You know better than that, man. Products don't even work. Partay's in here ranting about how he never said Vaseline body oil. Right there. Isn't that you at the end of the day? That's your channel. Ain't your website right there? Lying on camera. Just lying. All right, we're going to keep that. I got to get a picture of that. We need to keep that. That's at 11:53. I'm going to post that ingredients up for you. Again, I'm going to put a warning in there. It's at your own risk because this stuff has oil in it and it will jack your stuff up. This is the reason why you got to be, these guys in the day, you got to be careful because again, they're trying to do something that I spent years developing. I got the test results on so many levels you guys don't even have. As a matter of fact, some of those black paints you call yourself making, I like to get some of them over here for testing. But you can't do that because it's a seasonal paint. Who ever heard of a seasonal paint? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But that's an excuse, another lie of yours to basically say that I can't really sell this, but I can show this off because it really doesn't work. Oh, I hear you crying and whining. No one's paying you any mind. Let's go over here real quick. Okay, so we know already from the door. We've seen the house paint. Let's go back over here and look at the rest of this mess.
Now, he's tried in a couple of subsequent videos to turn it to vegetable oil, but he always comes back to Vaseline. But the whole point is to introduce something malicious, right? He's trying to tell you that there's a component that's in our mixtures that shouldn't be. The problem is that it's not there to begin with. It never happened.
This is a small surface. You have wasted a lot of time. Another person brought this up in the forum site. Why is he painting the screen that many times? Because it's not taking. That's why. It's water in it. That's why. You literally shouldn't have to paint a surface that many times for it to take. You've been painting this for a while. Every time he's running the brush, and look, it's not even taking because you can see the paint pushing through. Look at that. Look at the difference between here. See the water beads? That's the water beads. And look at it there. See how it's not taking? Because it has all that water in it. That's why. When has anyone's ever watered down paint before? You know, could you have just a little bit left over and try to stretch it? Yeah, that's pretty much what he's doing right now.
Has been there. There's never been Vaseline. We've told you what most of the components are. They're not Vaseline, and it's just with malicious intent. He tells you.
So you're saying it's not Vaseline, it's not body gel. That's what you're saying. It's none of that at all, period, right? There's no oil substance in any of your products. That's what you're saying. That's what you're clearly saying, right? You're standing by that 100% that you never made that statement, right? And what the heck is this then? What is that? Tell me, Partay, what's that? You got body gel in there. Oh, well. Actually, I don't have to be. I can be online and sell. This tells me, that's at the end of the day, what made this statement. This is how dumb you are. I can be online and make sales. I can be at Disney World and make sales. I can be in my sleep and make sales. I don't have to be in front of a computer to make sales at the end of the day. I can be in there playing the game system and make sales because I can back my products up. I have so much information on my technology and my websites. My websites alone basically are combined with so much information it's not even funny. That tells you at the end of the day where my brain is at and where yours is at. Your website doesn't have anything on it. I get more instructions on a container of Tums than what you have on your website. Customers got to contact you and ask you because you have nothing in your specification sheets. Again, I can sit here and make orders right now. I'm making money right now. You can't make money at the end of the day because, again, you got products sitting on your website that are house paint with you in the videos, back in the theory. And on top of that, Jamie, to add even more to that, because we know that you in here crying and whining, that's not your customers at the end of the day. Even more, why are you taking Google images? You're a fake and fraud. Your product doesn't sell. It's nothing but house paint. Yeah, go get some more images off Google. That's what you've been doing anyway. Your products don't work. Got a nerve to be sitting there telling people that they're using special effects and all this stuff to make their products look like this, that, and the other. And you get caught with Google images. Can't even back your products up. Let's go back over here to Partay. Crow's in here whining and crying. You notice the notifications ain't going off, right? So he's in here crying with a fake account. All right, let's get back to this. Now he just said, he didn't say nothing about different colors. We got different colors here, right? Nothing about different colors. There's another different color right there. I don't know what's going on with this Partay. We're seeing multiple colors popping up. You said nothing about different colors, right? Right? That's what you said, right? We got another one right there. All right, then. Then what the heck is this? You never said anything about colors. And of course, you're going to have containers because you can't put them all in one container. That's basic common sense. You said you didn't say anything about it being house paint. It is house paint. And can you explain why, right here, Partay, can you explain to me right here, why in the world is your product coming up half water?
To cover the lies, and I say that specifically.
Go back a little bit on that. Why is that half water?
Promise to cover the lies, and I say that specifically.
What is going on with this? Why is this half water? Like I said, I didn't realize, I didn't see it at first. I was like, you gotta back it up a little bit. It's right in there, you'll see it.
As promised, to cover the lies, and I say that specifically.
What is this, man? What the heck is that? You have this is half water and half paint. That's paint right there, clearly you can see, and that's water. That's a half and half. So majority of this mixture you claim you have here, I guarantee you, tell me if I'm wrong here. Make it on YouTube right now and put it against your product. I guarantee you that this right here is black and white paint with water in it. Tell me I'm not wrong. Make it. Make it live. Matter of fact, make it live on YouTube and paint it against your screen. See if it doesn't have the same reaction. Because if you don't, sooner or later, when you open up that shopping cart, I'm going to have your product down here. And we're going to make your product and do the exact same thing. We're going to duplicate your exact video right here. Now, if you're saying my product is house paint in the day, well, you ever heard of black versus black? Like mine, we started that. We're the ones who started the black versus black. I got tons of those on my website right now. Feel free. Oh, matter of fact, I forgot. You don't have a test demonstration page because you don't test your stuff. Yeah, that's house paint. That's nothing but, that's why somebody keeps talking about a thin coating. It's not a paint. It's not a paint. Oh, it's paint, all right. It just has a lot of water in it. That's like somebody selling watered down ketchup, watered down tomato soup. You know, you can see the difference. You can see the poor quality. You can see the poor quality on the first coat. It's absolutely horrible. I sit there and paint that screen in 4 times the same color paint because I'm supposed to be building a system. No, I'm just trying to get the surface to apply. That's why it keeps rolling over the screen over and over again. That's a small little 2x3 surface. He should have been had that thing coated already. First coat, it should have been knocked out. But because there's a lot of water in it, he's having a problem with it. Look at the texture of it all. Look at this. Let me get here to the texture. The first coat. Look how horrible that looks. That looks really bad. It's like he painted it with Elmer's glue. That's what it looks like. That's absolutely horrible. He didn't follow any of his instructions that he had his wife follow. He wanted these real detailed instructions on how she had to paint the screen in, and he didn't go there. What else I find interesting, when he applied the first coat, how come the first coat didn't look like the first coat on down here? They were completely different. So this is the first coat here.
For applications, 4 coats, right? So you can see
Watch
that
the
I'm
paint.
stirring the material here. I'm going to pour it on and paint it in just a moment. But let's talk first about why would Ken come up with that? Why would he state that? Because that was never stated anywhere within any of our videos. Not once have we said that you would get 4 containers. We said that you would do 4 applications. Now, that's not a misconstruence because it was never actually stated. It's just a lie. It's just a smear.
Now, I find it interesting how you're just painting the screen in this sloppy format, but you had your wife painted a particular certain way.
All right, see, now you instructed her, she's going to run about a 2-inch wide strip from the center of the first one to the center of the third one.
You said 2. It's 3 right here. You don't even know your own instructions. Now watch this.
There you go. Just keep going across. There you go. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Now just, you can actually take your brush and brush that up the side if that happens. where you have a little roll in the container. There you go. Nice. Now you just want to go.
Now, see, this is the part that messes you up, man. Not only did we know the other videos are a complete lie, because again, you mentioned things in that video you never said, but you're clearly saying them here. Also, excuse me, on top of that, the instructions are different. They're way different than here than they're here. On this one, you're not doing the line pattern. You're just pouring the paint in. You're instructing her very carefully to put this line in the middle of the screen. It has to be done this way. It has to be approximate. Remember, this is what you have in your instructions right here. These are your instructions. Your instructions are based off the first demonstration, not the second one. There's your chart showing the line of the screen. You didn't do that at all in the demonstration at all, period. You completely skipped that one altogether. You said that you have to lightly stir. So you have to stir very well from side to side, and you have to stir each coat lightly. Each coat, you have it right there. But you didn't do that in your demonstration at all. You know why? Because that first demonstration you did was bogus. All that crap doesn't need to be done. What if you're going to sit there and paint a line in the middle of the screen? You got to go through stirring each application each time you put it in. That's just bullcrap. You put all that stuff in there to make your paint seem like it was something really complicated. That's all you did. And then putting water into it, you can say, oh, it's not a paint at the end of the day. It's a skin-like coating. No, it's a paint with a whole lot of water in it. That's what it is. Right here. You even got a whole chart here that clearly states that you basically have to visualize and paint this right down the middle from right to left, all that. But yet you didn't follow any of these instructions when you painted in the second demonstration. So question, which one of these demonstrations is the real one and which one's the fake? Which one is the customer supposed to follow? I think it's the first one because the entire demonstration is based off this one, and you were very careful how you instructed your wife, how you wanted her to paint the screen in. Like this.
Go ahead and get to rolling. And what you want to do, the goal here is to cover the surface. You're not trying to get a pretty roll, like you're rolling a wall in your house or something. You just want to, first of all, what you want to do is try to get your
Now you see how the paint's having an extremely difficult time trying to marry to the surface? You see this right here? See that right here? That's oil. That's what oil does. Putting a lot of water and paint wouldn't do this. You're seeing two different reactions here and here. You're not so smart, are you? You really should have did a better job with these demonstrations. Now, I know you're going to come on here and you're going to rant and do the emojis and stuff like that. That's what Jamie does. That's what Jamie and Partay do. This is how they basically, they don't come up, we ask them simple questions. They don't know how to respond back. I asked them a very simple question to Jamie. Why can't you use the Frankenstein in a home use? Why? And he couldn't answer back because, again, even he doesn't even know. It's house paint. You can use it in your regular. You can use, it'll do the same thing as any other house paint. Watch this.
roller saturated with the material. I'm rolling it back and forth. You want to saturate your roller with the material.
Like this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I have not done this. So.
You see how it's smearing?
But now you want to start rolling it, like rolling that out, because what you see is you've got little pieces. There you go. You're just trying to get coverage, a good, even coverage. It's not going to look even as far as color, but you want the whole surface to be wet. Suzie?
That is the dumbest thing. You want the surface to be wet. We need you to paint that wall over there and make sure it's wet. It's going to be wet regardless. It's paint at the end of the day. But what is the purpose of basically you stating right here that you wanted her to paint the entire screen? It's not going to look pretty, as you said. It's just to get the surface wet. So the same instructions you gave here, how does that apply here? If it's the same paint and you're telling people you just want to coat the surface, you want to get it wet, aren't you going to get it wet regardless if you put on 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 coats? So what's going to happen? You put this one on wet and the other paint comes out dry. It doesn't apply because it's dry. That doesn't make any sense. Your videos don't make any sense at all.
Easy as that. Just basically, but try not to roll it off. I usually roll side to side.
I got you. You instructed me.
That's messy. It's not even taken.
Clearly, I'm not a painter.
All this, and you don't have to be a painter. You don't have to be a painter in the day to just take basic house paint and paint. That's it. You're done. That stuff is smearing and sliding all over the screen. So he can't put pressure to it. If he puts pressure to it, it's going to have this result right here. So what he's going to have to do is lift the roller up and apply very little pressure to get the surface to marry. That's what he's going to have to do. But this right here, that should never look like that. Imagine you buying paint, you painting your wall, and you're getting this reaction. There's something wrong there.
You're doing absolutely perfect. Once again, you're not trying to get a pretty roll at all. What you're trying to do is get the material on the surface.
And you're listening to this. You're not trying to get a pretty roll. You're just trying to get the material on the surface. That's it. And don't worry about painting these walls in here. Just get the material on the surface. That's all that matters. We got to do a couple more coats. That doesn't make any sense. That sounds stupid.
All right, see, now you can start applying just a little bit of pressure going either side to side.
Sorry about that. This is sloppy. Look how nasty that looks. That is nasty. That is very nasty. Partay, you don't know anything about customers, do you, at the end of the day? Customer, let me explain something to you, Partay. Even if they've never painted before, ever, say they never painted before, they're going to have, their confidence level is going to be extremely low. Especially if they paid for something, their confidence level is extremely low. And I've gotten it so many times, they're afraid they're going to mess it up. That first impression of the product has to show outstanding results, because that's what builds the confidence level of the customer. You don't know business at the end of the day. If I'm painting the screen for the first time and it comes out looking like that, my confidence level is going to drop dramatically. I'm not even going to want to finish the job, to tell you the truth, honestly, at all, period. I might just put it off and just basically file a complaint. And you're going to tell me that my confidence level is already low enough as it is in painting this in, and this is the results I'm getting on the first application. Now you're going to tell me I got to do this process all 3 times more when I'm already feeling like I really don't want to do this. I don't want to be bothered with this. I ruined my screen at the end of the day. All those thoughts are going to be processing through the customer's head. This is why we do a lot of paint on demonstrations to show the customer, look, we're done. By the time it takes you to paint this screen, each application, I would have painted a screen, paint and dried, and displayed a screen for each application you would have applied. I can paint in a 250-inch screen faster than your demonstration. And as a matter of fact, to prove it, I actually did a demonstration where I painted in a 100-inch screen plus an 80-inch screen to a wall twice before your demonstration was up. So I was able to paint in those screens and display at the same time before your video ended. It even gave you a head start. That's horrible. And this is on, keep in mind, a 2x6 surface. Imagine at 150, imagine at 100 inches doing this nonsense.
Side or up and down, just apply a little bit more pressure. Be easy when you want to roll your roller. There you go.
Not just.
Yeah, not just slide it.
Gotcha.
All right. Now you see how that.
It's sliding because it got oil in it. That's why it's sliding. It wouldn't be sliding if it was regular paint. But you want to make this sound like it's not a paint. It's just that and the other.
Starting to coat across.
Not
the
a doctor,
screen
but I
now.
play one on TV.
All right. And that's really all you're wanting to do is just make sure you get a good even coat.
Now, see, even without the smearing, you can still see the original screen pushing through. This is what these little white specks are. This is the original screen because the paint, again, has oil in it. See these streak marks he's having here? This thing is going to streak all the way across.
All right. Now, go back to this side and just lightly hold your roller. Just let the weight of the roller roll it, and you just roll up. Go take your roller and put it about halfway on the line you just made. And just do that again. Let the weight of the roller.
That's a headache painting.
Over and over across
Imagine
the
this.
surface.
If he's giving her this many detailed instructions on how to paint this in, imagine how much of a headache this is going to be for the customer. Now, you see how slow she has to roll that screen and no pressure on it, right? Again, this is only 2 feet. Imagine doing a screen of 4 feet, of 5 feet, of 7 feet. Yeah.
Now, the reason we're doing this is because I want to show you it's very easy. It's just a technique, right? But also, this will help you optimize. That's it. You're done. This will help you optimize the surface. So the surface is going to have less texture. It's going to be very fine and give you a really nice image. So
that's what you said there, but you didn't say it over here. You said something completely different. Okay, let's come back here and let's watch this one.
That's a complete damn lie. It's one 48-ounce container of whichever product you choose, and you're going to do 4 applications, 4 coats, right? So you can see that I'm stirring the
Now, real quick, he said it's 148 container. You're going to do 4 applications. So the demonstration up there just showed 4 different colors, right? So what you're saying is you painted in 4 individual screen paints on one screen. Is that what you're saying? Because that would explain the different colors.
material here. I'm going to pour it on and paint it in just a moment. But let's talk first about why would Ken come up with that? Why would he state that? Because that was never stated
He didn't paint the magical line that he has on the chart that he instructed his wife to do, that she had to carefully do this. He didn't do it here.
Anywhere within any of our videos. Not once have we said that you would get 4 containers. We said that you would do 4 applications. Now, that's not a misconstruence because it was never actually stated. It's just a lie. It's just a smear to try to scare people away from buying a Partay product by using things from a video that were never actually stated and making up his own little story to try to make it sound like it's going to be super complicated, and also that the whole thing was a lie. That's not the truth. So no 4 containers, no 4 colors. And as you can see, the application, now I'm actually going back and forth on this first panel a lot more because at the time I was actually doing the narration as a part of the video.
No, you're going back and forth on the application multiple times because it's not taken to the surface. That's what's happening. That's why you're going back and forth. And you're missing this whole edge right here, not even painted. You instructed your wife to go from one end to the next, to one end to the next, and you're all over the screen.
And so I was
curious, why is it 2 different colors? You got a different color up here, which again, is completely different from what's going on down here. So you're saying this is the actual video and this is not the video? Then what the freak is this? But you never said this. Okay.
talking and just kind of going back and forth. And right there, I realized I've just been going back and forth. So essentially, you just want to coat the screen with the material and then go back and do a pressured roll, a full pressured roll up and down. And then you're going to come back, and what I'm doing here is I'm doing half over. 3 easy steps. Coat the surface, do a...
I know Partay and Jamie with your fake accounts, you're in here spamming and carrying on. You know I'm not paying you no mind, right? I'm not even looking at the messages, but good luck with all that. Let's move on.
Pressured roll to spread or, make sure that the material is thinned out. And then you're going to come back and do your soft roll.
That is absolutely horrible.
Half over. And if you look here, you can see that you're not getting a uniform color. And that's not the point. That's the difference. That's where this varies from a paint. That you're not looking to try to get a uniform coat the first time out.
Gee whiz, dude, do you ever think, why do you lie so much on camera? First of all, we've seen the container, most of it's water. We can tell it's a watered down paint. And if it's a watered down paint, it's going to have an extremely difficult time trying to marry to the surface because half of it's water. That's why. But you're trying to tell people it's not a paint. It is a paint, James. I mean, I'm Partay. Y'all lie so much you get y'all mixed up. It's a paint.
Out of the gate. What our consumers know is that all you need to do is follow the instructions. Follow the instructions, and in your 4 coats, you're going to end up having a uniform color, uniform look about the screen.
That's awful.
But you're going to put on 4 applications because you're building an optical layering system.
Yeah, you're built in an optical layering system, but you completely missed that whole section right over here. Is not even freaking coded at all, period. How the freak you miss all that? That's because it's not taken well. That's what all them beads are. It's watered down paint. Gee whiz. Watered down paint.
System. No one ever said anything about fusion. There was never any conversation about layers needing to fuse. Okay, so we'll come back to that in just a few. But you can see that this is now dried, and you can see the pattern's still there. Everything's still there from the first coat. And then we're going to do...
Completely missed that entire section right here. So you see how badly that looks? That looks very, very trashy. That's very trashy. It's just a lot of water in that paint. Partay, I'm going to call it like it is. Your product is nothing more than black and white paint mixed with water. It's a half and half. Just like I sat there and said on camera. I never even saw that. The other people saw that, but I didn't see that at all, period. That's what your product is. It's water and paint. That's all it is.
A second coat, okay? And you just follow the same instructions. Now, the reason that Ken feels so threatened by this is because, once again, as you saw in yesterday's video, where he was trying to state that once you paint a very soft and stretchy material, that it's going to get hard and you're never going to get it back over a frame. That is a lie, at least for Partay products. For paint, I agree with that, because paint will stiffen. That's what paint does.
Wait. What the freak did you just say a few minutes ago? I just caught on to that. Hold on for a minute. Hold on.
Hard and you're never going to get it back over a frame. That is a lie, at least for Partay products. This is because, once again, as you saw in yesterday's video, where he was trying to state that once you paint a very soft and stretchy material, that it's going to get hard and you're never going to get it back over a frame. That is a lie, at least for Partay products. For paint, I agree with that, because paint will stiffen.
You just said, you literally just said what you said a few minutes ago. Well, I gotta hear that again. We gotta hear that again. Gee whiz. You just sat there and said it wasn't, but it will.
You paint a very soft and stretchy material, that it's going to get hard and you're never going to get it back over a frame. That is a lie, at least for Partay products. For paint.
Now, you just said that's a lie. I just said a few minutes ago, you just said paint is going to stiffen it. That is a lie. At least I can say that for Partay's product.
I agree with that, because paint will stiffen. That's what paint does.
But you just said a few minutes ago that it wasn't. Then you said at least not for Partay's product, and then you're going to say it does stiffen. Gee whiz, man.
You get paint chips. You'll never get a chip out of this. This will never get hard enough to chip.
Because it's got a lot of water in it.
It's a flexible material. That's what it's designed to do.
It's got a lot of water in it.
And it terrifies him because he can't understand what's happening with the product. And I'm saying it again because he only knows paint and color. That's the only things.
Mm-hmm.
So he decided that it was in his best interest as a competitor to lie about another competitor's application process, as well as the product itself, because you hear him consistently say that my product is nothing more than house paint. Now, I would remind you that Kenneth has never seen a Partay product face to face. He's never had it. So how would he know that it's just a house paint? But that's what he's doing. He's definitively stating that it's nothing more than a house paint. Now, folks, he's also definitively told you that it contains Vaseline. Now, he's tried in a couple of subsequent videos to turn it to vegetable oil.
Body gel, Vaseline, and the fact that the reason why we don't have your items is because you're a coward and you're afraid you gave us back our money. Yeah, all right. Then you sit there and you say that the paint, you never said it came in colors, but the video up there shows it's in colors, and anyone with common sense, no, you can't ship that all in one container. It'd be 4 containers. So what else you got? And you said your product's not a paint. From what I've seen so far, it is actually black and white paint with a ton of water in it. That's what it is. That's what we're seeing.
Well, but he always comes back to Vaseline. But the whole point is to introduce something malicious, right? He's trying to tell you that there's a component that's in our mixtures that shouldn't be. The problem is that it's not there to begin with. It never has been there. There's never been Vaseline. We've told you what most of the components are. They're not Vaseline.
Well,
and it's just with malicious intent.
now the reason why he's painting over this surface over and over again, because the paint's not taking. That's why you're seeing that still black pushing through. That's why he's rolling over and over again and again and again. He should have been done this already. This is only 2 by 3. He should have zip, 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 and done that fast. He's still painting this thing.
He tells you that. Think of it in the context of the CEO of Pepsi coming out and making a public statement that Coca-Cola has started putting something into their product that will hurt people, but it not being true. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, Partay, we got a problem with that because we have your ingredients right there with your YouTube channel and your freaking logo attached to it and your website attached to it. And clearly it says in the ingredients, it says body gel. What the freak you think body gel is? Gee whiz.
Truth is, Partay products are nothing like he describes. It is a completely unique product.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Bird has claimed that he knows exactly what's in it, exactly what's going on, and yet has never.
How many times did you just roll over that surface? Gee whiz. I'm just sitting there watching how many times he's rolling over the same surface. Watch this.
The problem is that it's not there to begin with. It never has been there. There's never been Vaseline. We've told you what most of the components are. They're not Vaseline, and it's just with malicious intent. He tells you that.
He just rolled
Think of
over.
it
He's
in
going
the
doing it
context
again?
of the CEO of Pepsi coming out and making a public statement that Coca-Cola has started putting something into their product that will hurt people, but it not being true. What do you think is going to happen?
Oh, heck no. You just seen how many times he rolled the surface?
Give it in context.
Gee whiz. You just literally, I'm going to count how many rolls you just hit. A 2 by 4 or 2 by 3? I told you, that's the reason why he's rolling over the surface, because the surface is not taken. Now imagine, you're going to be doing a 100-inch screen, 4 feet by 7 feet. You're not only have to paint this screen one time, but you're going to be doing multiple rolls, because he literally just rolled the screen multiple times. Let's count them.
Tell you that there's a component
do it
that's
from the
in our
first-
mixtures that shouldn't be.
We got to do it from the
Another
first pour.
competitor's application process,
Let's
as
count
well
this.
as the product itself, because you hear him consistently say that my product is nothing more than house paint. Now, I would remind you that Kenneth has never seen a Partay product face to face. He's never had it. So how would
We're
he
not
know
going to count
that it's
this. We're going
just
to
a
count
house
the
paint?
initial rolls
But
when he's
that's what
going back and
doing.
forth.
He's definitively stating
Because he's just
that
coating the
it's
surface right
nothing
now.
more than a house paint.
Now, when you're painting the screen, we all know how to paint in the day. That first coat on, you should have been done. Already should have been done. If he's going back over it again and again and again and again and again and again, that's what you're going to be doing on a 100-inch screen. You should have painted it the first time and been done. This should have been the finished one. He should have put the second one on, finished, put the third one, finished.
Folks, he's also definitively told you that it contains Vaseline. Now, he's tried in a couple of subsequent videos to turn it to vegetable oil, but he always comes back to Vaseline. But the whole point is to introduce something malicious, right? He's trying to tell you that there's a component that's in our mixture.
There's
that
multiple
shouldn't be.
rows in each
The
one.
problem is that it's not there to begin with. It never has been there. There's never been
4,
Vaseline. We've told you what most of the
5,
components are. They're
6,
not Vaseline, and it's just with malicious
1.
intent.
Oh, we got
He
to
tells
count
you
this one
that.
up.
Think of it in
Whiz.
context.
I didn't
That
realize that
shouldn't
when I
be.
was looking at how many times he's
The problem
passing the
is that
screen.
it's not there.
Because somebody, these are
But
comments people
the
made.
whole
So how many times he's going to
Is
pass
to
over the
introduce
screen?
something malicious,
1,
right? He's trying to tell
2,
you that there's a component that's in
3,
our mixtures that shouldn't be. The
4,
problem is that it's not there to begin with.
5,
It never has been there. There's never been
6,
Vaseline. We've told you what most of the
7,
components are. They're not
8,
Vaseline, and it's just with malicious
9,
intent. He tells you that.
10.
Think of it in context
11,
the CEO of Pepsi
12,
coming out and making a public statement
13,
that Coca-Cola has started
14,
putting something into their product
15,
that will hurt people,
16,
but it not being true. What do you think is going to happen?
17,
Truth is, Partay products are nothing
18,
like he describes.
19,
It is a completely unique product.
20,
And Mr. Bird
21,
has claimed that he knows exactly what's in
22,
it, exactly what's going on,
23,
and yet has never seen it in person.
23.
So what Ken has essentially done is
Is
moved
it
from
23? He's going to hit it
speculation
again.
into defamation. You slandered our product, all with the intent to
23.
try to scare people away.
23. And the image still looks that bad. Look at that. You can still see the paint pushing through. That was 23 rolls. Gee whiz. You got to write that one down. 23 rolls. What the freak? That is no easy process. 23 freaking rolls. Now, mind you, that's what you're going to hit a screen with. That's the second application? Or was it the first? That's the second application? Oh, we got to count this up. I wonder how many. We got 23. That was 23. And the second application, second coating. My goodness. Do you have any idea how long it would take you to paint a screen? If the problem what he's having is having all that water in it, it's not taking too well. That's the problem. And every time he paints over top the screen, he's still seeing the black screen pushing through. That's why he's rolling over it again and again and again. We got to go back to the first application.
To do. And it terrifies him because coat the surface and making up his own little story to try to make it making here. Doesn't matter which mixture it is. If I remember correctly, I was using Vega Plus here. But really doesn't matter because it's one
23. You got 23 on the second coat.
Container
First coating
of
is
one product.
well, tell me
You
first
don't
coating.
get 4 different containers. You don't get 4 48s, which is what he's told you out there, that you'll get 4 different containers.
Now, if you do a screen that has multiple coats on it, it's one coat. So they hit it, boom, 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 done. Let it dry. Boom, 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 let it dry. They don't go over it and go back over it and go back over it and go back over it. Done. Put another one down. Paint it. Go back over it and go back over it. You know how long it would take you to paint the screen in? That'd be forever. That's 23 on the first. This is the first one. Now, you can't say I'm making this up. Are you saying at the end of the day I'm making this up? I'm lying? We're right in here watching this. Am I lying? You just sat there and said you didn't say 4 containers. You're going to have 4 containers if you're chipping out 4 different color paints. If you sat there and said that I lied and said that you never said anything but different colors, we got different colors. We just watched the video. There were different colors that were hitting the screen. They weren't all the same color. And then you sat there and said you never said anything about body gels or Vaseline. There's right there your description of how to make a black and white paint do it yourself for free. Sorry, black paint do it yourself for free. It clearly says body gel in it. Gee whiz, man! If you can't even. You guys lie so much. It's unbelievable. Let's see how many
There's only one
applications here.
coating from each container, and each one of those is a little bit different from the other.
One coating that
That's
you're literally going to put in
completely
multiple
unlocked.
times.
It's one 48-ounce container of whichever product you choose, and you're going to do 4 applications, 4 coats, right? So you can see that I'm stirring the material here. I'm going to pour it on and paint it in just a moment. But let's talk first about why would...
So let's talk real quick. He's saying in this video, he never said it was going to be colors, different colors. It was not going to be 4 containers. And he also said that all he's asking you to do is take one of the Vegas or whatever the paint he makes, and you have to put 4 applications of that one on. So, Partay, asking you, if that's the case, what's the other video for? Just want to put it out there. Unless you're telling people that they're going to buy, you're going to give them 4 individual screen paints, Vega 1, Vega Plus, whatever you call it, and they're going to paint each one of those on? Is that what you're saying? Because it doesn't make any sense. Something doesn't add up here. So what's the purpose of the other video? Explain that one. Because that video is based off your entire website applications. This one's not. And even in your chart, where you basically have your descriptions of your products, you say 3 coats, not 4.
Ken come up with that? Why would he state that? Because that was never stated anywhere within any of our videos. Not once have we said that you would get 4 containers. We said that you would do 4 applications. Now, that's not a misconstruence because it was never actually stated. It's just a lie. It's just a smear to try to scare people away from buying a Partay product by using things from a video.
We don't count that. We want
actually
him to
stated
saturate the
and
screen.
making up his own little story to try to
I
make
don't
it
know.
sound like it's
I don't
going
even
to
know
be
what
super
saturated is.
complicated.
Just
And
paint
also
screen
that the
in,
whole
literally.
thing was a lie. That's not the truth. So no 4 containers, no 4 colors. And as you can see, the applicate.
How in the world, Partay, can you get up here? I just gotta say, take time with this. How can you get up there and say no 4 containers and no 4 colors? Do you know what the freak this is? Really, that's just as bad as Crow getting caught on a video of bearing receipts, matching a product, and saying, "Oh, that's not my video. I never made that. It doesn't exist." Gee whiz. Never said.
Now, I'm actually going back and forth on this first panel a lot more because at the time I was actually doing the narration as a part of the video. And so I was talking and just kind of going back and forth. And right there, I
That's
realized
not a
I've
back
just been
and
going
forth.
back and forth. So
1,
essentially, you just want to coat
2,
the screen with
3,
the material and
4,
then go back and do a pressure
5,
roll, a full pressure
6,
roll up and down.
7,
And then you're going to come
8,
back, and what I'm doing here is I'm
9,
doing half over.
10,
3 easy steps.
11,
Coat the surface,
12,
do a
13.
pressure roll to spread or, make sure that the material is thinned out. And then you're going to come back and do your soft roll half up.
He hit that surface 13 times, and look how badly it looks at 13 times when he hit the screen. That's horrible. 13 times he just rolled or just touched that screen, and look how horrible that looks. I told you my theory's right. See those little beads popping up? That's the water right there. It's not taken to the surface.
Over.
That's
and
13.
if you look here, you can see that you're not getting a uniform color. And that's not the point. That's the difference. That's where
Yeah,
this
13
varies
on the
from a
first
paint.
coat.
That you're not looking to try to get a uniform coat the first time out of the gate. What our consumers know is that all you need to do is follow the instructions. Follow the instructions.
So we're painting the paint strokes. When it covers the screen in, that should be the official coating. This should be done. If he has to go back and go over it again and go over it again, those are the ones we count. We can't count the one he's initially painted in the screen because he's just painting in the screen. He's adding it to the surface, so you can't add that. You have to add if he takes the roller and he hits it again, how many times has he hit it again after painting the entire screen and actually covering the entire screen. So that's what we add. That's what we look for.
And in your 4 coats,
We got 13.
you're going to end up having a uniform color,
On this one, on the first coat.
look about the screen. But you're going to put on 4 applications because you're building an optical layering system. No one ever said anything about fusion. There was never any conversation about layers needing to fuse. Okay, so we'll come back to that in just a few. But you can see that this is now dried, and you can see the pattern's still there. Everything's still there from the first coat. And then we're going to do a second coat. Okay, and you just follow the same instructions.
13 for the first.
Now, the reason that Ken feels so threatened by this is because, once again, as you saw in yesterday's video, where he was trying to state that once you paint a very soft and stretchy material, that it's going to get hard and you're never going to get it back over a frame. That is a lie, at least for Partay products. For paint, I agree with that, because paint will stiffen. That's what...
You literally just said, it's a lie. So if you basically paint a screen and it stiffens, you can't get it over the frame, you said that's a lie. At least not for Partay's products. And I agree with that. Paint will stiffen. Do you understand what you just said out of your mouth? You just disagreed and agreed at the same time. Gee, boys, you guys are
You
stupid.
get paint chips. You'll never get a chip out of this. This will never get hard enough to chip. It's a flexible material. That's what it's designed to do. And it terrifies him because he can't understand what's happening with the product. And I'm saying it again because he only knows paint in color.
Now, more thing I'm more curious about. We know basically it's half and half water. We know half the stuff in here he's lying, or all the stuff he's in here lying about. Let's talk about, you're going to go through this entire process to paint this thing in, right? Because it's a lot. All right. What's the difference between this product and just Network Gray 773? Because it's around the same color. So what's the difference? Network Gray 773, you're going to apply it at one time and you're done. This, you got to do multiple paint strokes just to paint it in, because the paint won't form right to the surface, because you can see it's still showing up. You can still see the gray here. It's not even covering correctly. You just better off just buying house paint. And you come out cheaper and you have a gallon of it at least.
Oh, that's the only thing. So he decided that it was in his best interest as a competitor.
Supposed to pour a
to lie
straight line
about
approximately
another
3 inches
competitor's
wide.
application
Nope, didn't do that.
as
Okay,
well
move
as the
on.
product itself.
Now he follows on
Because you hear
instructions.
him consistently say that my product is nothing more than house paint.
It is.
Now, I would remind you that Kenneth has never seen a Partay product face to face.
Nope.
He's never had it.
He keeps canceling the
So
orders.
how would he know that it's just a house paint? But that's what he's doing. He's definitively stating that it's nothing more than a house paint.
All right, this is
Now,
what you do, Partay. If we can't get your product because you keep canceling the orders because you're afraid, how about you show us it's not house paint? Go buy some house paint, stick it next to you. Do the whole thing. Do what I just told you to do. Get the house paint and put in the same amount of water you have in that container. See if the textures aren't both the same. Enlighten me. I'm giving you the ability to do this yourself. Take a black and white paint. Matter of fact, I want you to make this interesting. Take Crow's black and white paint mixture, right? And I want you to basically put about half a container of water in there. So on a quart, half and half. And tell me I'm not right. It's not going to come out looking the same way. And put them side by side. See how well they match. Enlighten me. Because if we can't get our hands on your product because you're afraid to open up your website and you keep canceling orders, then how about you do that for me? Prove it. Do the video right there. I guarantee. And post it to your website. I'll be back next week to go on your website to see what the video is. I will look for it. So what we're going to ask Partay is to take Crow's mixture. Take the black and white mixture, 2 tablespoons into white paint. And what he's going to do is he's going to make that a half and half. Half with water and half with paint, what he has here. And then do that demonstration again. Do yours and do that and put them side by side. And let's see what happens. Got to be careful about opening up your mouth, man. I'll give you challenges at the end of the day to give you. My challenges I give people at the end of the day are nightmares. Matter of fact, our test demonstrations are nightmares. But that's what you do. If you're saying it's not a paint at the end of the day, then show us. Make it. Because if you don't, like I said, if you don't, and I happen to get my hands on that, or one of my friends get their hands on your products, you're going to keep your shopping carts locked. Because I said before, dogs are at your door. Right there to make a phone call and say, look, I want you to watch that website. The minute he opens up, get that product. Now, 2 things will happen from this. If you cancel the order from any one of my friends, we'll know from the door that you're not making any sales. Because how in the world would you figure out that's one of them if you're making all this money at the end of the day as you claim from your site? You wouldn't be to tell who's who. That's why we know Crow wasn't making any orders when we ordered the first product from him when he canceled on one of the customers, because how would you even know who that was? I get so many orders that come in, we don't know who's who at the end of the day, and we don't care at the end of the day because we can back our stuff. But you guys got more to lose because you can't back your products up. So when that order goes through, and if my friend comes back and says you canceled, we automatically know from the door that's the only order you received. So I wouldn't cancel if I were you with one of them placed. But again, how about you do that for us? I'll give you 1 week. I'll be back on your website in 1 week. I want to see it on display, as we told Jamie to display those videos of him matching house paint, put it on his website. He refuses to do it. He doesn't want to do it. Now anybody can just go to his website they want to, and they can just go to the Google image, fake Google image, and they can do the back and hit it right there and see right there his images are fake. Because he left it up there because he don't care at the end of the day. And the reason why he doesn't care, the reason why he didn't take it down, because Jamie's not getting any orders. He's not getting anything at all, period. I guarantee, I hope most of this, any of the things he's showing at the end of the day are all fake. Because again, why would you leave something up there? If you had something to lose that was going to basically cause damage to your company, why would you leave it up there? Because you don't care at the end of the day. That's a stack of cards right there. But anybody else, if you want, we're going to give you a challenge. We're going to call it the Google Fake Screen Paint Google Challenge. And we challenge you to go to Jamie's website. We'll post it. We'll put the link exactly where you can go to the cart, and you can go in there and hit that image. Now, Jamie, on your behalf, if you remove that picture, it automatically puts on the door that you are basically trying to hide evidence as all your other videos. Are you going to move the pictures, get rid of them, or are you going to keep them there? Damn if you do, damn if you don't. We'll get back to that one in a few minutes. I got plenty of time. Like I said, I can sit here and make money. I don't have to be in front of a computer working. I could be home right now, chilling over with my family, chilling with them. Out, boom, and I make money. It doesn't make a difference. I'm contracted. Do you understand how contracts work, Jamie, at the end of the day? In a contract, that means we get a certain amount of orders every month. We can get 80,000, we can get 100,000, we can get 200,000. That's how it works in contracts. And I'll have time to roam around because I'll have the money and capital to be able to have other people run my company while I go on vacation. Only time I got to pop in for meetings to sign things, and that's basically about it. And all the other ones who have these businesses have it the same way. That's how it works in the business world. So I don't have to be processing orders that you guys have to do at the end of the day. You got to kill yourself. I don't have to do that. Anytime a customer wants to ask me for anything, how does this work against black paint? What about different projectors and ultra short those 3D mapping applications? I can go, here you 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 go. I got showrooms on my website where I can basically show tons of information. You guys don't have to check. Everything on your sites are nothing but lies. Like this fellow right here is showing nothing but a lie. So they're sitting to say, oh, I have to be busy making. No, I don't have to. All my orders go out on time. I pay for free shipping. My customers don't get hit with surcharge fees from overseas. We pay for all that. Gee whiz. But we're going to have that Google Image Challenge. We're going to put it up short and sweet. Google Image Challenge. Go to Jamie's website. Go to the 2.0. Now, two things can happen out of this. He can remove the entire shopping cart. He may do that. I'm going to call it ahead of time. If he removes the shopping cart, if he removes any of the pictures, anything from the Frankenstein, any of that goes missing, any pictures go missing, we automatically know from the door he's hiding evidence. And if you do, I'm there to bust you. So don't hide anything. All right, let's get back to this monstrosity. What are you saying here again? Are we counting the strokes, aren't we?
Folks, he's also definitively told you that
All right.
it contains
Let me see.
Vaseline. Now, he's tried it in a couple of
Let me sure we
subsequent.
can.
What he's doing, he's definitively stating
So we can't count these because he's actually painting the screen in.
than a house paint.
This should have been done already.
Now, folks, he's
One,
also definitively told you that it contains Vaseline.
3.
Now, he's tried it in a couple of subsequent videos.
I
to
can't
turn
count
it to
that. He's going
vegetable
side to
oil,
side.
but
We
he
need to
always
go in
comes
this
back
way.
to Vaseline. But the whole point is to introduce something malicious.
1,
Right? He's trying to tell
2,
you that there's a component that's in our
3,
mixtures that shouldn't be. The problem
4,
is that it's not there to begin with. It
5,
never has been there. There's never been
6,
Vaseline. We've told you what most of
7,
the components are. They're not
8,
Vaseline, and it's just with malicious
9,
intent. He tells you that.
10,
Think of it in the context of the
11,
CEO of Pepsi coming
12,
out making a public statement that
13,
Coca-Cola has started
14,
putting something into their product
15,
that will hurt people,
16,
but it not being true. What do you think is going to happen?
17,
Truth is, Partay products are nothing like he
18,
describes. It is a
19,
completely unique product.
20,
And Mr. Bird has
21,
claimed that he knows exactly what's in
22,
it, exactly what's going on,
23,
and yet has never seen it in person.
23.
Never.
All right.
So what Ken has essentially done is move from speculation
23. That's the
into
second coating.
defamation,
And we got
slandering our product,
13.
all with the intent
So that's 2
to try to
coatings.
scare people
Gee
away
whiz.
from buying it. Now, as you can see here, we just finished our second coat. So part of that process, whenever you finish your coat, when you look at the screen, what you're going to see is a lot of little bubbles. Right?
36.
So keep in
strokes
mind, this is
already,
more
altogether
like
combined.
using plastics or resins. So you're going to get some bubble creation. Now, generally in resins, that's a big bad thing to happen, right? So you want to try to keep that from happening as much as possible. That's part of the creation and design of this material is that
Now the bubbles. Bubble creation. That's the new one right there. Never heard that before. I told you I've been in the business in a long time. I've heard some dumb stuff, but that's what the dumbest thing I've heard. The bubbles are coming from the paint, the water beading off the paint. That's where it's coming from. Because it's paint is half paint and half water. A lot of water. And that's what's causing that reaction. But he says it's some kind of bubble creation. That's what he said? Gee whiz.
That's a big bad thing to happen, right? So you want to try to keep that from happening as much as possible. That's part of the creation and design of this material, is that what you're going to see is a lot of little bubbles, right? So keeping in mind, this is more like using plastics or resins. So you're going to get some bubble creation. Now, generally in resins, that's a big bad thing to happen.
Bubble creations. Let me see some remain. When water beads off paint. So this is what you're seeing on his product. His product, the water is beading because it's not mixing with the paint. It was not supposed to be there from the beginning. That's why it has this kind of bubble, kind of bead look to it like that. That's what it's called. He calls it bubble creation. No, AKA what it's called is basically that water is not supposed to be mixed with that paint. That's what happens. Mixing water with paint. It's like if you mix water with oil base, if you mix it with acrylic, you get this kind of beaded look to it. So we're just going to make we're going to make Partay's paint in 2 days from now. So that's some things to do. We're going to get some black and white paint. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to put half water in it. And we're going to show you it's going to have the same exact reaction. It's nothing but water. It's water and paint. Pretty much, man, you got watercolors kicking off over there. Watercolors. Red and yellow, but that's what's going to happen. If you mix water and paint, that's what's going to happen. And try that experiment for yourself. Go try that experiment for yourself. Yeah, that's the same reaction he's having, but he's calling it a bubble system. Sure.
Happen, right? So you want to try to keep that from happening, or like using plastics or resins. So you're going to get some bubble creation. Now, generally,
bubble creation. Bubble creation. Bubble creation. The heck are you looking at, man, at the end of the day? Really? Bubble creation. Bubble creation is caused by water or different chemicals, but that's water. That's what the water is called. It's causing it to bead. That's what it's doing. There's gases, chemical, and there's also water. Bubble creation causing water. The bead, that's what it's called. It's a beaded look to it. See those little beads right there? Those little beads? Yeah. That's what you're doing right there. Because you have a lot of water in your paint, that's why. All right, let's get the rest of these strokes in. We only got two. We counted 23 on the second and 13 on the second coat.
in resins, that's a big bad thing to happen, right? Keep that from happening as much as possible. That's part of the creation and design of this material, is that what doesn't work for resins works very good for this. Because what happens is that all those bubbles will pop. The material's going to self-level itself to some degree. But what's going to happen is you're going to see these randomized patterns.
So what's going to happen is the bubbles are going to pop, and it's going to cause the screen to self-level. My goodness.
Patterns of material that overlap each other. And it is the randomized diffusion, randomized reflectivity, and transmission that really makes Partay products hum. As we told you before, there's not a drop.
Wait, did he just roll this screen after we did 23? He just went back and rolled it again? What the freak? Kidding me? Whoa. Hold on. We're at 23 after he stopped. Let me see something for a minute.
Each other. And it is the randomized
He just
diffusion,
rolled that screen and went in again?
reflectivity,
We're at 23.
and transmission
24,
that really makes Partay
25,
products hum.
26,
As we told you before,
27,
there's not a drop of
28,
house paint in Partay products
29.
All of our toners, okay, so we make our own toner, which is part of the mixture, and that toner is based upon inks, not paint. Okay, and here you can see the second coat is dry.
All right, so you said your stuff is made out of ink. I'm going to buy ink too, and we're going to see how that works. First things first, if you put that much water into ink, that stuff would be so watery, it wouldn't take to jack, period. You would have an extremely difficult time applying that to a white screen. It'd be so runny, so blotty, it wouldn't be funny. No, buddy, that's paint. I'm sorry.
Just turn the fan off. You can still see it's starting to fill in, right? But you still have these areas where you can see through the material to the back. But our third coat's you can see little specks in there where you can still see through to the substrate. So
Didn't you just say that same dumb line right here? I know your videos so much that I can go back and back and I can pinpoint exactly where you said what by looking at your videos. You literally just said that here. You had the same problem here that you had over there.
don't worry about that. What you'll notice is that we're starting to get a uniform. There's a line here, but we're not through yet, right? So don't worry about that. You can.
We got 29 on the second one because you went back and then had to roll over it again. 29, gee, what is 29 rolls on the second one. So you can't paint the screen in. You're literally going to have to go back and forth over that screen at least 29 times for the second coat. That's nightmare.
It's going to start to close some of that gap, and you'll see that here in just a moment. So let's talk about fusion, because Partay didn't mention anything about fusion. But what you've heard Ken say out there...
That looks nasty. That looks disgusting. That looks like grainy, wet rice. That's what that looks like. That looks like wheat. Yeah, it's disgusting. Looks like a bunch of maggots. It does. That looks disgusting. That didn't take it all, period. That is not a smooth coat. That is gross.
Or is that, how are the screens going to fuse? How are they going to fuse? What happens if you skip the second coat and was to just do the third coat? Well, that's the reason you've heard me say, well, if I skip the second and go to the third, doesn't that make the third the second?
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. What the freak did you just say? If you skip the second and go to the third, it doesn't make it the second. It makes it the third. What the heck are you talking about? Gee, whiz, you guys are stupid. Where did you go to school at? If you skip second, doesn't mean you didn't hit second. It means you skipped second. You were still in third. Doesn't make a difference whatsoever. Do you know anything about baseball at the end of the day? So if you skip second place, you didn't hit second place. You jump over second and don't even touch it, and you go straight to third. That means you hit third. You never hit second. Gee whiz, you guys are stupid. Literally. Just said that in a conversation. It means you still hit second. No. How would you have hit second if you never touched to begin with? That means you skipped it and went straight to third, which means only third is going to count. Oh, I feel sorry for y'all. I really do. 2 months, our site is going to be going straight corporate, and this is what you guys are going to be dealing with. Oh, my goodness. This is bad. This is really bad. I feel sorry. I really do. This is going to be bad. I hope somebody else comes in and does a better job than these guys.
Of course it does. There's no fusion required here, folks. No fusion. As a matter of fact, fusion would work against the whole principle that we're going for here. You want 4 coats that are bonded, not fused together, but bond to each other, just like if you were painting a wall.
Bonding and fusing is almost the same thing. Okay, put it this way. What's the difference between bonding and fusing? Same thing. You're bonding a surface together. If you fuse it, you're still fusing 2 surfaces together. It's just a different way of process of it doing, but both of them are going to serve the same purpose. So if I glue it, nail it, tape it, whatever, it's still the same. It's still the same thing. You're still bonding a surface together. It's how you go about doing it, you dummy. Gee, I hate to call people stupid at the end of the day, but how dumb can you be? It's the same thing. It's the same principle. It's just a different way of going about it. It's like if somebody basically uses cement over here, someone uses glue over here, someone uses duct tape, someone uses nails, someone uses nuts and bolts. They all have the same purpose of fusing an object together, but they're just doing it in different ways of how they're basically fusing those objects together. You guys don't read too much, do you? My goodness, bonding fabrics and resins together is a process which creates a permanent bond between two or multiple layers, and which can be similar or different in the benefits of fusing the materials together. How dumb can you guys be at the end of the day? Seriously, says it right there. How dumb can you be? It's still the same thing. It's just a different way of doing it. It all has the same purpose at the end, the benefits of fusing the material together. Stupid. Man, guys, this is what happens when you talk so much to crap on camera that you literally lie and people watch you lie as you lie. It's the same purpose. But to break it down for those particular, for a Partay who does not know, same scenario. If someone's basically using nuts and bolts, someone's using nails, someone's using tape, someone using glue, it's the same scenario. You're still putting a surface together. It's the same altogether as fusing, as bonding. It's all the same thing. It's just how they go about doing it. Stupid. Be careful when you talk on camera, really.
And you paint a first coat, and then you paint a second coat once that dries, it's not going to fuse, it bonds. And just like the manufactured screens that are using different layers, multi-layered materials, right? Those materials are generally just plastics. And the materials that they're using are not fused in a sense. They don't blend them together to make one. They actually bond them to make a single screen, right? Because if you took a layer that's actually doing a specific filtering action, the last thing you want it to do is be fused with another layer.
8.
Just that would
9.
diffuse the whole purpose. So there's no fusion
11,
that's required here.
12.
And I don't really understand
13,
where he pulls that fusion shit
14,
from, but there's nothing that
15,
requires any kind of fusion
16,
here for it to work optimally.
17.
That's just something he fabricated.
18.
I would challenge
19,
him to show where fusion is even necessary.
19.
All right, so we've completed our third coat, and I'm going to show you what it looks like.
Third coat took 19 applications to apply 19 strokes. Gee, what is this freaking nightmare? 19. 19 would be third coat. We're going to be on a form site about this. They actually were counting them in the form site, saying exactly, it doesn't make any sense. He should have had it the first time you coat the surface, you should be done. That's it. If you have to go back over that screen, some people will go over a screen, like I've coated a screen in and going over it one time to make sure it's smooth, but he literally just passed over that screen. One of them was 19, one was 29, and the other one was 13. That's a lot of passing back and forth. That means it's not taking too well. That's why he's doing that.
When it dries just in a second, you'll be able to see that it's really starting to fill in nicely. You see much less in the way of gaps. You can see that here before it's dry, but you'll see it even more so when it is dry. But let's talk, because Ken says next that I give you way too much. You shouldn't need 48 ounces to do a 120-inch screen, right? That I only guarantee up to 120 inch. So let's talk about why that is. You've got 48 ounces, which is a quart and a half. Okay, so that's 6 cups of material. For a 120-inch screen, you're going to use 1 1/4 cups for the first roll. You can see we're getting started here. We're going to do our fourth coat, but you can see how this is starting to fill in very nicely. So your fourth coat's going to give you a fully uniform finish. But back to our amounts. You're going to use a cup for each 3 rolls after. So that is 4 1/4 cups. So you're already over 32 ounces, which is your quart. So I give you plenty enough, not just to make sure that you can do a 120-inch screen with the 4 applications, but also that you have enough to do some test panel rolls beforehand, so that you can actually get your practice with the material. But also, if you want to see whether you want it over a white flat substrate or a black flat substrate.
We got to come back to this one, because first things first, let me explain this in 2 Partay. You said 120 inch. You have 150 inch here marked right here. And you said this is 1 cup and 1/4. You never mentioned this anywhere in any of the demonstrations at all. And the description of your product, it says it paints up to 120 inch screen, which means where does this leave the 150 inch? And again, for as many coats that you just basically had to go over and over on that surface, again, the customer is going to basically pour a lot out. If he doesn't see the first application go through and didn't cover and didn't take, he's going to put down more paint. This is something you don't think about. If customers painting the screen and they're still seeing like the screen looking really, really gritty or dirty, they are going to be tempted to put more paint down, which means that's going to eliminate that whole coat system that you have at the end of the day. That whole 4 cups. Because your customer is going to literally put down 2 cups for that one application because he or she is going to feel that they didn't put down enough paint to cover the screen. You don't think at all, period. We got to go back in here because I need to see how many applications he put for this one. All right, here we go.
Well,
and you're sitting there scolding your wife, telling her at the end of the day
also
that she's got to paint this perfect line. What's the point of putting the chart in if you can't put the perfect line in yourself? I told you it's virtually impossible. That nonsense you put in where you had to pour a 3-inch line all the way across. Yeah, right. That paint has that much water in it. There is no way in the world. That stuff is going to be thin, some areas wide. No one is going to be able to do that crap.
Have enough to do some test panel rolls beforehand.
That's so many strokes on this one. So that you can
actually get your practice with the material. But also, if you want to see
we don't count the
cover
cover
over a white flat substrate or a black
flat covers the whole
substrate,
system, then we can count.
You can actually do that and see which one you like better without wasting the material and not having enough to complete your screen. So Partay's trying to be a good citizen and make sure that folks have more than they need in material and enough to be able to play around with before they actually go to roll their screen.
5.
What Mr. Bird forgets
6.
Okay,
7.
Is that it takes 4 applications and each
8,
application is going to take so
9,
much. So once again, for 120 inch,
11,
you are going to use at least
12,
4 1/4
13,
cups of material.
14,
so you're already over 32.
15.
So that's
16,
why we provide you 48 ounces.
16,
it wasn't to copy anybody. I would actually make the statement that 48 ounces, I believe, existed before Mr. Bird did. Can 16. I get an amen on that? All right, so we finished our 4th
16.
roll. We'll let that dry, but let's talk about...
We got 16 here. Let's see. I'm curious about that. I was born in 1968. In 68, I don't think we had those containers in 68. 48 ounces. 48 ounce containers, how long have they been out? So let's see. I don't think I have a thing for that. How big? Web serial. Because when I remember I was coming out, it was, we had pints, we had gallons, we had quarts. We're talking about way back when I came out, containers were in glass. That's how old. That was back when reel-to-reel was popping up. So how far does the 48 go back? 48 ounces. Don't put down containers. 48 ounces. When did it start?
48 ounces is 3 pounds.
48 ounces, when did it start? So he has to consider, when you say 48 ounces, 48 ounces is measured in meats. It's measured in something that you would have at a deli. But when did the original container of 48 ounces come out? That's what he has to consider when he's talking. When did that come out? When I was born in 68, we've never ever bought a container with 48 ounces. Ever. Period. There was, when I was coming up in sodas, it was the 3 liter. Was it 3 liter? No, it was the 2 liter. Because the 2 liter was coming up, and it was a glass bottle. It was a huge, heavy, thick glass. And all sodas came in glass containers. Milk came in glass containers. And in that era, basically, we got Wonder Bread came with baseball cards. You got really real prizes in Cracker Jack boxes. So I don't think I've ever seen anything in a 48 ounce container. Even cookie jars didn't come in 48. Cookie jars were huge. But then again, like I said, I don't think, I got to look on that real quick. But then again, like I said, the 48-ounce container, no, heck no. Because I remember, yeah, we just started getting those. Matter of fact, I can go contact Uline, where we do business with, and ask them when did they start buying 48-ounce containers, and I can get that information. That's not hard to do. But no, it had been 32s at the time, 32s. I've never seen a 48-ounce container in any form of paint products or anything ever. Not until we started bringing it out. And then you ever see other containers in 40, mostly make them in 32s. There's no machine. As a matter of fact, the machines that process those particular containers of paint, they don't do 48s. They have to be in 32s, they have to be in gallons, they can be in 10 gallons and 20 gallons. That's it. So he doesn't even have the intelligence for that one. What did we count on this one? Gee whiz, now I had to go back and count this again. Mother freaking George. Let me see. Let's get that pour out right there. Dude, what I find disturbing about the paint outs on this, the first time somebody paints a screen, all right, you paint the screen the first time. Some people paint it be done. Sometimes you have to go over it, but you go over it one time. He literally hit that screen 29 times on the second coating, 13 on the first coating, 19 on the third. Gee whiz, that's a lot of freaking strokes to be going back and forth. And the reason why is because the paint's not taking that well. Anybody's ever painted a room before and you painted with cheap paint, you know you're going to have to go over that wall over and over and over again, because you're going to still see the imperfections from the other wall pushing through your screen, especially if you don't prime it first. Some people do that literally. They will not buy a paint that has a primer built into it, and they will basically paint it with some thin coating paint, and you'll be in there painting the same thing over and over and over again and again and again, to just come down and just buy the good paint that's really thick and nice that you can actually paint the surface one time and be done with that. You can never put down one coat application.
The material, but also if you want to see whether you want it over a white flat substrate or a black flat substrate, that you can actually do that and see which one you like better without wasting the material and not having enough to complete your screen.
Black, you got to be kidding me. The first coating you put on, we can literally see the black push into the paint. Second one you put on, we can see the black push into the paint. Third, we could see it. It took a fourth application to cover that mess.
So Partay's trying to be a good citizen and make sure that folks have more than they need in material and enough to be able to play around with before they actually go to roll their screen.
5.
What Mr. Bird forgets,
6.
Okay, is
7,
that it takes 4 applications, and each
8,
application is going to take so much.
9.
So once again, for 120
10,
inch, you
11,
are going to use at least
12,
4 1/4
13,
cups of material.
14,
So you're already over 30.
15.
So that's why
16,
we provide you 48 ounces.
16.
It wasn't to copy anybody. I would actually make the statement that 48 ounces, I believe, existed before
16,
Mr. Bird.
16, 16.
Can I get an amen on that? All right, so we finished our 4th roll. We'll let that dry, but let's talk about now.
17.
Ken actually
18.
has made the statements that the reason that I keep my carts closed is because I lose money on this product. By his logic, $40 per sale. So that's why I keep my carts closed. And
we're going to give him 17. Gee whiz, that's a lot of freaking strokes on the screen. That hurt my back at the end of the day doing that crap. 17. 4th coat is 17. I'll be in the form site for this one. Like, yo, did you count the strokes on that? Like, yes, I did. I sat there and counted them. I don't know what's worse, man. The fact you sat in this video and you lied to the entire video. Definitely got a video sitting right over top that's showing 4 coats being put in. We all know it's going to take 4 containers because you're not putting that one paint. That's basic common sense. Sat there and said that your product didn't match. You had a Vaseline in it. We got a video right there showing ingredients with Vaseline in it, body gel. Over here, you said something about too much paint for 120-inch screen. Yeah, by theory here, what you have here, you said your product maxes out at 120-inch screen. And I don't know which application you're using. Are you using this application or are you using this application? Which one of these are you using? Because we're a bit confused here. Here you're saying you only need 1 quart or 148 ounces painted in 4 times. Here we're showing multiple colors, which means you're saying that you need multiple. This paint comes in 4 containers. It has to come in 4 containers. How else would it be shipped in? It's just basic common sense. Your lies are tiresome, man. And your entire product infrastructure on basically on all your instructions are based on this video, but this one was done completely different, which you scolded your wife. And this one on painting this perfect line approximately 3 inches, you didn't do any of the things you did in this video on this one. You don't know what you're doing. You're just flip-flopping all over the place and saying that your shopping carts, you're not open. Literally. You said right here, yesterday was on Thursday, right? We're on Thursday. He says that, let me see. You have here in your drying time, for real quick, let's go back here. Your drying time is 5 to 7 days. You didn't talk about any of that. You talk about your drying time. How long does it take for your product to dry? It says 5 to 7 days. Up to right here, you got 5 to 7 days here. And then down here, it says it becomes, recommend that you not wipe your screen until the surface until 24 hours? Are you kidding me? It says it right there, 24 hours for your screen to dry. So let me get this straight. I'm going to sit up there and paint a screen the same color. There's no other reason why you didn't give an explanation why I would have to paint the same surface with the same paint, the same color 4 times in a row. And then in the process of painting this screen, I just saw you do 13 passes over the screen. Second coat, 29 passes over the screen. Third coat, 19 passes over the screen. Fourth coat, 17 passes over the screen. And then when I'm done that freaking nightmare, I gotta sit here and wait 24 hours for it to dry. And one here, it says right here for the drying. This is not the drying time. It's the curing process. Here you go. You're not going to believe it when you read this. This is not the drying time. This is not the screen drying. This is the curing process in which the screen releases oxygen and continues to dry internally as the polymers do over about a period of 5 to 7 days. Because of this, it is recommended that you do not wipe or clean the surface until 24 hours. Let me tell you something, man. This is why I know this is all bull crap in the day. If the screen, if you're saying this is not the drying time, so that means the screen is technically still wet. If it's not, if it has nothing to do with drying time, you've clearly stated that the screen is still wet. And if it's still wet between 5 to 7 days, how are you going to wipe it clean in 24 hours? How does that work? You're just writing stuff in there for the sake of just writing stuff in there. It's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. The room is open, Partay. You know you can come in and talk anytime you want to. Come on in. You've been in here before. Explain that nonsense. I have never heard that before. You said this is not drying time. So if it's not drying time, that means the screen is still wet. If it's still wet and it's 5 to 7 days, how are you basically wiping the screen or the surface in 24 hours? You guys are stupid. You guys are idiots. You don't know what you're doing in here. So you got this whole entire thing, video explaining these steps along with an example panel being painted by my wife, Kelly, included below. Right here. This is a demonstration. This is the one you're talking about. This is with your wife, Kelly, in it. This is where you show 4 different color paints at the end of the day. This is everything you put in this demonstration. Then you come to this demonstration and say, oh, it's a lie. I never said anything about color. I never said anything about containers. You wouldn't need the containers. How else would you be shipping it? I never said anything about Vaseline. We saw it in the video up there. You said Vaseline. What's going on here, man? Then you try to tell people that bonding and fusion are not the same thing. Yes, they are. Google could tell you that at the end of the day. They're the same thing. Too much paint for a 120-inch screen? Well, it depends on how you're going about it. Over here, how will you go about it here? How are you going about it here? Are you putting in like 5 cups? So let me get this straight, Partay, and I swear this is going to give me a freaking headache when I say this. If this right here requires 4 coats of 4 different individual paints, you mean to tell me the customer is going to be sitting there putting in multiple applications of strokes across the screen, as we just counted in the other one, per each application, and then sit there and wait an additional 5 to 7 days for the screen to dry, and they can't wipe it down for 24 hours? That's the dumbest thing I've heard in my entire life. Where do you come up with this stuff at the end of the day? Gee whiz, you can't even get right here. It's a 150-inch screen. How does this apply to a 150-inch screen? Tell me, please, enlighten me on that. Now he can't get into the room. The room's open. Come on in, Partay. Explain to me how the freak you talk about up to 120-inch screen. That's the max, but you got 150-inch right here. Let's go over to your freaking applications here. Gee whiz, man. Do yourself coatings. I swear. This is funny. Sold out, sold out, sold out, all sold out. Yeah, right. Don't worry. My friends will have your product soon enough. You're going to have to keep your shopping cart locked from now on. We wouldn't get your product over here. You understand me? And I'm going to make that watered down paint that you made and just show at the end of the day. And we're going to make it out of ink. And keep in mind, I give them the opportunity. I'm giving you the opportunity to do it yourself. Go make Crow's black and white paint. Put half of that and with water and basically do that demonstration again. And if you're saying at the end of the day, I'm wasting my time. No, I'm not wasting my time. My time is not wasted. My contracts are done. I put them through. My websites are up and running. Our test demonstrations are done. I can make orders while I'm working here right now. The reason why I do this at the end of the day, because I can't stand people at the end of the day who do fake demonstrations to take this entire industry and make it look like a joke. Bad enough, I got to go into form sites and I got to deal with the TVs at the end of the day that want to talk about how projection screens are garbage and they're the past, their history. I got to deal with them, and I got to back the projection screen industry by going in there and saying, no, black screens and projection screens is going to be the future, so and so and so. I'm arguing with them jokers almost every single day, and then we got you freaking pinheads in here doing this dumb nonsense at the end of the day. Look at this dumb nonsense. Look at this. Look at this craziness. 48 ounces of the Vega covers up to 120. So if it covers up to 120, what about the 150? What does that cover? Anytime, Partay, you want to come in here, open your mouth, or you must be too busy. You're lucky you don't have one of those little windows that Crow has, because I'll be slapping them freaking questions in there left and right to you. If it covers up to 48 covers up to, that means it maxes out at 120. Where did you get 150 from? You don't even know. Just throwing stuff in there. Mid-color gray. Explain this whole freaking approximate gain. You got two versions of gains on here. That doesn't make any sense. The screen doesn't have two. Doesn't. He said right here, easy cheesy. 3 steps. 3-step videos provided on our website. Buddy, you said 3. And your demonstration, you said 4. Seriously? You're lying so much you can't even begin to understand what you're doing. I watched you in your demonstration where you were telling your wife to put in a 2-inch, and it clearly said 3 in the application. You don't even know your own instructions. So you tell me, it says right there, it says 3-step application. But you say on your demonstration, you said 4. So which one is it, a 3 or 4? You don't know what you're doing. At all, period. This is why you see me on camera. When I paint a screen, we're done. That's it. Set it up, watch, we're done. And you're still in there explaining some abstract or polymers and all that other dumb nonsense. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's get over to your freaking water paint at the end of the day. That freaking water paint. Matter of fact, before we go down this road, let's go check out your black paints. Since your shopping carts are all closed anyway, they stay closed. Let's go over. This is your black paint, right? Let's have a look at this real quick. All right. Here we go. This is supposed to be your matte black, your matte black or mantle black, what do you call it? 48 ounces, paints up, covers up to 120-inch screen, which you have not talked about that 150-inch. Since you put that in there, you haven't talked a word about it because that's a lie. You know it's not going to work at all to begin with. You just have that in just to have it in there. Let's see. Let's see what it has here. Now, your product says right here, designed for standard short throw and long throw. Not recommended for ultra short throw. So I couldn't run the P2 on there, could I? Because your products don't work for ultra short throw. And the only time a black screen would have a horrible time, ultra short throw would have a horrible time on a black screen, is the black screen is not generating enough white light, and it causes what you call the narrow viewing cone. It can go dark on the screen. That's why. Or maybe it's because he has oil in its product, and having 3,000 lumens sitting right up on top of a screen would cause the screen to hotspot like crazy. How do you not get a screen paint to work on an ultra short throw? That's the easiest thing. You would have an easier time getting a screen paint to work on an ultra short throw than a certified. because a certified has to have a special screen because they have a reflective coating, which causes a narrow viewing cone effect. That would affect that screen right from the door. That's why they have special screens for certified screens compatible with ultra short throws. Screen paints don't have that issue. The only problem you would have with the screen paint is whether or not it gives the projector the ability to be used in a fully lit environment, contrast, and color. That would be a problem. You wouldn't have a problem with brightness because you're 3,000 lumens and less than a foot away from the screen, so that wouldn't be the issue. The issue would be maintaining your colors and contrast. That's why a lot of them tell you to calibrate and be in ambient light controlled environments, because the screen washes out in the process. How do you not get that to work on an ultra short throw? I can get black paint to work on a freaking ultra short throw. The only problem with the black paint in the ultra short throw, it can't see white levels. It can't pick it up. It can't register it. But it can see a contrast level at the end of the day on an ultra short throw. So how the freak your product doesn't work on an ultra short throw? That's stupid. Here it is, approximate gain, 8 to 9. Which one is it? Is it an 8 or 9? Here we go again with these double gain on your screen. Was it 8 or 9? I've never heard Elite, Black Diamond, any one of the companies come out and say, hey, our screen is a 7.1 and an 8.1 at the same time. It's one or the other. Which one is it? You said approximate. You know what approximate means? It pinpoints it to one thing, approximately 4 feet, approximately 5 feet, approximately 8 feet. That's what it means. How are you getting 8 to 9? What the freak does that mean? That's like you're like a person who basically is trying to take a stab in the dark. You heard that term before? That's you. That's stupid. Dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Let's move on. What else nonsense we got on this one? Oh, here, seasonal. This screen paint is available seasonal. Why is it available? Partay, Danny boy. Why is your paint available seasonal? Why? Can you explain that to me? Why is it seasonal? You talked about your shopping carts, but you didn't explain why is it seasonal. I don't know. Maybe it's a Halloween paint. We don't know. Maybe it's a Christmas paint. We don't know. You know what it means when I say something seasonal? That's like right now, if you're in the middle of July and you're trying to buy a Christmas tree or a Christmas candy. Some of those things become seasonal, because they only make them in certain times of the season. Explain how a black screen paint is supposed to be seasonal. That doesn't work at all. Let me see what I see right here. Roll-on or spray-on application. How would the roll-on or spray-on application work if you spray-on application? How would that work if you basically have to paint a line in the middle of the screen, which you failed to do in the demonstration on the second demonstration? You didn't do anything. Which you basically went and instructed your wife perfectly to go, not perfectly, but when you instructed her, okay, you was perfectly, you instructed her to do everything a certain way, but you didn't follow the same guidelines. Interesting, because that's a bunch of bull crap. The instructions and stuff is crap. You don't have to do any of that junk in the day. Look, this is what you do. Don't sit there and waste your time building your muscles. I mean, it's a good workout. And sit in the day, if you're doing a 100-inch screen, you're doing 29, 17, 13, and 19 strokes to go over your screen. I guess it's a good workout in the day. But other than that, you don't need to do all that crap. And it's a seasonal. It's seasonal. Coating coming soon. You've been saying that for the longest time. This has been going on almost a year, and you're saying the same thing. All right, let me see what we got on this other one here. We got another one here too, another black one here. This one right here. Let's see, this is the other black one right here. Let's see, seasonal. Yes, see, the black ones are usually seasonal. This is supposed to be ultra black. Here we go. We got two gains popping off again. Now this one is a 0.75, and this is 2 at 0.8. You got two of them here. Which one is it? Don't even know. It doesn't even know. Does it work with ultra short throw projectors? Recommend use with ultra short throw. So this one works with ultra short throw. The other one doesn't. Oh, I'm sorry. Not recommended for ultra short throw projectors. This won't work either. So how are you going to compete with my technology? Because my stuff can pull up on any projector, including that P2. Just wondering. Probably the king of the king. What else we have on here on this thing? That's it. That's what we have on here. Has anybody seen him do a demonstration of painting in the black screen yet? Because I haven't seen one yet. 160-degree viewing angle. That's very poor. That's a very, very poor for a black screen. It should be way higher than that, 160-inch. The diffusion technology allows for viewing outside for optimized viewing range. Okay, and you have the whole coverage here, right? Okay, let's go over here. And again, this is a seasonal product. I don't know what season it didn't say what season. Usually they say what season it comes up, but there's no season for it at all, period. Okay, so we don't really know what season that's available. It's just seasonal. Let's see, let's go pop over here and see what we got going over here. What do we have over here? This one right here is 48, 120 inch. We skipped out the 150 inch altogether. Not recommended for ultra short throw projector right there. Not recommended. You got a lot of stuff on there that's not recommended for ultra short throw. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know how in the world you can't get a screen paint to work with ultra short throw. And we got two sets of gains here too. 0.995 and 1.0. Two of them. I don't know how you have two gains on here. First things first, that's not black, that's gray. You know why? Look at this, look at this, look at this. None of that's matching. That's gray. Match screen's not picking up black. I'll show you for instance. See right here? See how the screen looks? Show you what a real black screen looks like. These are our demonstrations, by the way, people. We have tons of them. No, we're getting there. We're getting there. It takes a while. A lot of demonstrations. We're getting there. Do you see the color of my screen right here?
Oh, that's a new company.
By the way, it's on an ultra short throw.
Technology screens. Now, I've been telling you this for the longest time that, again, gray.
Now, Partay, do you see the color of that screen? Do you see how black it is? Your screen comes up gray.
And white screen.
See the color of my projector? Jet black.
That you can use an ultra short throw projector. Absolutely works. Due to the fact that. Trying to do that one again. Not commercial. Anytime we get that loading period, commercial's coming up. There you go.
That's how it's done.
Now,
Do you see how black my background is? See how dark it is? See how it matches everything? Here, here, and here? See it? That's why I know your screen's coming up gray. Your screen's not black, it's gray.
I've seen this demonstration done in a pitch black environment on a $3,300 projector.
See my environment? See how bone white it is? All the light pushes off in that environment?
But it's on, excuse me. This is a completely dark environment on a projector that's supposed to have it does have a 2:1 contrast, but couldn't see the screen because, again, in order to better the black levels,
See how black that is? Your screen's gray. Look how dark your environment is. I can see the light coming in right here. These are all pushed away. They're not even touching your screen. So how your screen is sitting under this lip right here, that's so none of these lights can make contact with your screen. This screen is gray that's coming up. You got it over here. You got a light over here in the corner in the shade. Sorry about that. Sitting over the corner in the shade. You see right here, see the light that's coming from here? That's coming from out there. That means if you have enough light to show up on this wall, that means this environment is darker than what's going on back there. That's how much information I can see in an environment because I specialize in ambient light projection technology. So your area is so dark that the light from the next room is actually generating more light on this wall than what you have here in the environment. Stop doing fake demonstrations. That's pathetic. That is really pathetic. That environment is dark. There's no way in the world this much light should be if you're coming from the next room. How you have more light here than you have in here? I can see it right there. Do you want me to spend the day picking apart your videos? I can show you everything you faked in your demonstration right now. Your overhead lights are so dim right now that the light in the next room that's hitting the side right here is basically generating more light in there than it is in here. And then you got this light over here in the corner, this nonsense over here in the corner. That light's not making contact with the screen. It's pushing here or here. Should have removed the shade off of that and stuck that thing right in front of your screen and then turned these things on and directed the light to hit your screen. This is why he has it under this lip and he has the lights over here. So when it comes out, it's going to make it look like his room area is well lit. It's not. It's not making any contact with the screen at all, period. And that, by the way, is gray. That's not black. You see the shade you have here compared to the shade there? That's black. Oh, wrong intersection over there. There we go. Okay, how are we doing out there? We're going to do a short and sweet video. My name is Kenneth Burton. All right. So you can see the screen can maintain enough fluid environment, but also keep the light. I understand you guys want to be on my level. I understand that 100%. But you can't get there cutting corners and doing fake demonstrations. I can see your bullcrap a mile away. Look at that. Lights out. My screen still maintains. My screen will wash out any surface that hits it. Those of you who call yourself making our product at the end of the day and mimicking my technology, I dropped my test on a couple of y'all at the end of the day. If you call yourself making my product and having my product, then you make all my demonstrations. Don't just try to mimic one thing. I want you to complete every single one of them. Anybody out there, anybody, I don't care who you are at the end of the day, anyone who calls himself being close to my technology, you complete all my work. You knock out every single demonstration exactly how I did it. If not, you're a bunch of fakes at the end of the day. I will buy your product, I will bring it down here and I will crush it. And I'll make you embarrassment. So if you're going to go against my tech, my work at the end of the day, then you have to complete all my demonstrations. If the certified screens can't stand against me, what makes you think you guys can? That's a pathetic demonstration. That's the worst thing I've ever saw. Screen doesn't even match correctly. I wipe the floor with your products. And again, I can't explain this enough to you freaking watercolor paint makers. At the end of the day, we don't care about you at the end of the day. Do you understand this? I'm now, in 2 months, I'm contracted. I'm done. That's it. I finally got the capital and I got to push to now to go head to head with the big screen, the juggernauts. That's who we're going against next. We couldn't care less. When I'm walking around up there, if I even take the time to look down and recognize you, it'll be basically the best day of your life or your worst nightmare. I plan to go side by side to Black Diamond. That's where I'm heading to. And you guys are just trying your hardest. You need, at the end of the day, this was a funny thing about it, and I had somebody say this. You guys need me at the end of the day. At the end of the day, if my products were so fake and I was a phony at the end of the day, why are you guys fighting so hard to beat me? Why are you guys fighting so hard to try to take down what I'm building at the end of the day? Because I have to be good. To have that many haters, that is Cat Williams saying, if you got 30 haters at the day, get yourself 30 more. You guys are sitting there hating there, biting your nails, trying your hardest to be on my level at the end of the day. You need to beat my technology in order to get recognition. You need to be able to take my screen and get recognition. That shows you how good I am. You didn't think about that, did you? All those dirty video demonstrations you do against me, you have to do that. You have no choice because your product basically can't get any form of, no one will look at it unless you can take down me. And the problem is I'm a hard one to take down. So, Pro, so desperate to get recognition for his product, has products matching house paint and stealing Google images to make his product like something that it's not. And Partay is lying about a demonstration as he has a demonstration posted to his site, and just trying their hardest to be on my level. You need me at the end of the day because, again, I'm the person you want to be. You're fighting as hard as you can to try to take me out. Because, again, if you can take out Crystal Edge, if you can take out Artec in the day, that makes your screen paint look pretty good. Doesn't it? Yeah. That shows you I'm the big dog when it comes to screen paint products. That's where I stand. Even Glue Screen can't even take our technology. Knox, paint on screens, no. So that's what it comes down to. You guys are fighting to try to take my title at the end of the day. And if that's the case, that means I'm the big dog. You need me in order to get some recognition. You have to use me saying, yeah, my products are good. We could take on Crystal Edge. You know how fantastic that feels at the end of the day? And I got screen paints out there fighting to try to belittle and destroy my company because they're trying to get on the level of our technology. And yet you guys can't complete any of our test demonstrations. Look, it's really simple. It's not hard to do. You just have to complete some tests, that's all. You have to prove your product actually works. Partay, your screen takes too long to paint in. I can paint in all these screens in no time at all. The time it takes you to paint your screen in. You have to do demonstrations in fully lit environments. You don't do those tests. You have to do it against white screens. Have you put that product against white screens? Have you done a white level test to show exactly where your white levels lay? You have to use different caliber projectors. What's the difference between your product and 720p? What's the difference between your product and 5,000 lumens and 1,000? You don't have those demonstrations. What about other great products? Have you tested your screen paints against other great products to see how you compare to those products? You haven't done that at all, have you? No, you have not. This is my massive giant grid. Can you complete any of the demonstrations in the grid? Any of them? There's over 70 demonstrations. If they're fake, then you should have no problem with completing them. Can't do that either. Well, let's move on from there. Oh, we have 250 inch screens. Have you displayed any of your products? Oh my goodness, let's go. Let's crush them real quick. Let's crush them real quick. Let's go pop over here to our demonstration page on the Crystal Edge technology. Let's crush you real quick. I got a challenge for you. Here's the demonstrations right here. We have the most demonstrations on and off YouTube. You show me that you can complete all my outside demonstrations. My customer demonstrations are more advanced than basically your own demonstrations using to sell the product. That's a 2.0 right there. That's a $58 screen paint that leveled 8 certified screens. 3-hour test. You still haven't finished that. You can't even beat the 2.0. That's a throwback. Customer demonstrations displaying our technologies on just about every level. Look at that. Do you have any demonstrations that look like this from your customers? You don't, do you? Because all your customers are sitting there trapped in the dark. There you go. I didn't think so. What about this? What about this right here? Any of your customers doing this right here? No, you can't even do this on your own screen paint. That's pathetic. Gunmetal technology. You guys claim to have gunmetal technology, right? Do you really have gunmetal technology? Because this is how our gunmetal works. We're not sitting in the dark. Fully lit environment. If you're going to claim to have gunmetal technology, you have to be able to beat certified gunmetal technology to have that name to say it. How many certified gunmetal screens have you beaten? None. More fake demonstrations. Pathetic. Now, I'm thinking about it, and I'm considering that, like I said, our customers have been absolutely fantastic to us, and they have been. Partay, do you see where my screen is sitting at right now? Windows. You see that? Where's your screen sitting at right now? In a dark area. Your area is too dark. I can't express that enough. You always sit in the dark. Why are you always in the dark? Why? What's the purpose of that? So, we're going to do something nice for the customers. We're going to have a special screen paint. Because right now, since I am now going to be, I'm contracted, I really don't need this. I hate to say it, and I'm sorry to be rude. We don't need the sales of our customers anymore. Not with the contracts we're seeing already. now. But I don't want my people at the end of the day to do those trashy paints at the end of the day. So since money is not going to be an issue for us on that level, and we still, at the end of the day, I still want to be able, like I said, I have no control over what the contract's going to sell the products for. They sell them for 3,000. Where the market's going to hit for them, they're going to be to do it. Mind you, our technology is just certified screens. You can't touch our tech at the end of the day. We have a technology that we can literally beat a $5,000 projection screen. That our market line is freaking insane on what we can make off this technology and what we can do with it. These guys are thinking about flooding football bars and with this black technology. So there's no end to what we can do. But still, at the end of the day, it's what they're going to charge. The only way we'd have control over pricing is that we decide to still deal with customers. So what I'm going to do is I am going to set something up after 2 months. After 2 months, there is going to be a special paint in the shopping cart. It's going to be extremely reasonable. Now, we don't have to worry about the Jamies and Partays because you guys won't exist. We'll be in court. We plan to get you guys taken care of quick. I don't care how much money it costs me at the day, what I got to put in the lawyers. I'm going to track you and find you. So you know that. That's my personal promise to you. Well, we already know where Crow's at, but Partay and Solomon 5, I plan to track you and find you. I don't care what I got to pay an investigator at the end of the day. I'm going to have somebody figure out where you're at so we can come get you. So that's a promise. It's going to happen. You will see my face in court, and I'm going to track your whereabouts. If I got to hire a private investigator, whatever it takes, I'm going to figure out where you're at, and I'm going to come get you. So we can get you wrapped up and get that done. Because we need to use you three as an example of what will happen when you touch her stuff. All right, so let's see. But for the customers, getting back to you guys. Because I got people contacting me saying, oh, so you guys are selling out. And no, we're not selling out. We just have to move in a different direction. I have to build some major capital, and I should have done it a long time ago. But again, like I said, when you're dealing with companies, they do not want you to have prices on the websites because they don't want people going around and buying. So we're going to put a special paint that is not going to be, it's not going to work as well for the companies, but it'll work better for the customers. It'll be designed for the customers. It's something we're going to have to design. So the companies will have no interest in it, but the customers can use it. And that's what we're going to be working on. Something different. It's not going to be, it's going to be something, it's going to be under 48 technology, but it's going to be something completely different. All the technology we have now basically is going to be used by somebody else, but we're going to develop something a little different. And this is going to be extremely reasonable for you. And that way you don't have to deal with the nutcases at the end of the day. And as for you nutcases at the end of the day who basically feel the need that you feel that you're going to touch this product, you won't get a chance to. We'll be in court already. Jamie, we're definitely going to be in court. We got about 3 months to go and I'll see you in court. So I'll have you guys wrapped up and done before we launch that product. You guys will be on YouTube crying and whining how you lost everything and how you may be facing some jail time for your stupid acts. We do know Solid Wake 5 is definitely getting jail time. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Oh, by the way, buddy, I just found out. Yeah, that is mail fraud. You can be charged for that. So guess what? We got to get the investigator. We got to figure out, before we can go file anything, we got to figure out where you guys live at. So again, like I said, I'm going to hire the investigator to track you guys down. Because I will see you in court. You got my word on that one. And we got another fellow who basically, they said he's from the Netherlands. Doesn't make a difference, buddy, where you live at the end of the day. You can be traced. I got some friends that are really good at machines at the end of the day, and we can find your whereabouts with no problem whatsoever. So not hard to track you down. Oh, I want that reputation so bad. You know how much time I put into my product and stuff at the end of the day? My legal team is going to be a monster, a beast. We're going to make sure we can track anybody down we want and bring them in for prosecution. Because we want to be known for that. We want to be known for two things. Known for number one, basically designing the best products on the face of the planet. And two, tracking down anyone. No matter where you're at, we're going to find you, get you, bring you in, and prosecute you. I want to have a reputation known for this. Yes, this is going to be fun. All right, well, with that being said, there's not much to talk about. The products are fake, man. The products are fake. The products are fake. They are. This is crap. We got water paint. This is crap. It is. It's just all crap. And we if I leave out of here and with these companies and we basically allow them, which they're going to do, we're going to charge what they want. That's within their contracts, is what they can do. But I can't tell them about the overhead and capital. I can't tell them that you can only charge so much, because that's going to basically hurt the contract. It's going to hurt them. We don't know what they spend for capital at the end of the day, so they got to charge what they need. Anyway, but they're not going to be in the prices that we charge paints for. That's not going to happen. They're going to be way beyond that. They know what that paint's worth at the end of the day. They know that at the end of the day, if you're telling somebody we got a technology that can knock out 9 certified screens ranging from anyone from $1,200 to $5,000, what is the basic common sense that someone's going to do at the end of the day? They're not going to charge freaking $189 for the product. They're not going to charge freaking $300 for the product. Oh, heck no. They're going to charge you easy $4 or $5,000 for it with no problem, because they know they can get the money for it. If we can go there and show them at the end of the day, hey, look, even if the screen costs $5,000 and they charge $2,000, they're going to get the money for it. And they know they can get the money for it. And then we're going to have the commercials, and we're going to have the back end and showrooms and displays and all that stuff. Yeah, we're going to get that kind of money for the product. But still, by doing this, it's going to leave the other people out altogether. So, like I said, we got something in the works to basically help you out. Because again, I don't want to leave you subjected to this mess at the end of the day. Watercolor paints. How is that even black? Look at that. That is definitely gray. That's awful. And because now we're going to be making serious capital, we're going to charge way lower than what we're charging with that particular paint. But I can't tell you what it is. I can't tell you when, but we will have it on the site. It will be in one cart and one cart only, and we will have it there that you can go in there and you can actually purchase a product. And it will be tested, which it should be. We may engineer an advanced gunmetal version. We don't have a 48 gunmetal. We may design one of those. Our gunmetal technology is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. So we may engineer one of those for you guys, because we don't want you subjected to this mess. Let's go over real quick. I want to go check out this water paint again. I can't believe I didn't see it. I really did not even see it at all, period. That water, I didn't see it at first. And somebody was like, oh, you didn't check out the watercolors? I'm like, watercolors? What the freak are they talking about watercolors? There's no watercolors in that video demonstration. So you didn't look at the bucket? What you mean? The bucket is showing at least half water. And when I came back in to look at it, there it was.
Hi, folks. Standing here that
The lies that Crystal X standing here at Partay, and today I am here, as promised, to cover the lies, and I say that specifically.
Yeah, we
The
didn't
lies
click it
that
fast enough.
Crystal X
We didn't click fast enough.
standing here at Partay, and today I am here, as promised, to cover the lies, and I say that specifically.
Yeah, Partay is definitely a lie that I titled the video, and the video speaks for itself. Watercolors, water paint. I'm gonna go back in and break that up on a slow. Water paint, that's half water. When I first saw it and I said the stuff was beading like that, was coming off like that, that something didn't look right. And I said, there has to be a lot of water in there. And there is a lot of water in that container. That's half water. There we go. Perfect shot right there. Look at that. That's half water. So all this right here, that's paint. That's nothing but paint right there. All along there, that's the paint. And right here, that's water. That's all water. That's a lot of water in that paint. And that's why he has to do the multiple strokes over top the screen. That's why he has to do the 4 coats, because he literally put so much water in that paint, it basically deteriorates the ability to be able to be a 1-coat application. I guarantee without that water in there, it would have coated one time just like that with no problem whatsoever. Guarantee you. And that's why I keep saying it's a skin. It's something completely different. When you get the product, of course, when you get the product, it's going to show separation. It's water in it. And then he makes a statement that the reason why there's water in it, because it works as a delivery system. We have that crap over here.
whenever people are rolling it, right? So the formula is not going to be like that. You will see how it works. But I just into it. I coated it with
Now-
a white gloss. That's just the only white.
I'm gonna let you listen to this. Knowing that you now know what you just saw in that video, showing that it is actually that much water in the paint, you will see when he's trying to explain that it's not water. He says it's distilled water, and distilled water, the reason why it's in there, because people are going to ask, why am I getting paint with a bunch of water in it? He's going to say, well, it's distilled water. It acts as a form of delivery system to keep the paint from evaporating. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
House, so I use what I have. But it's got a lot of texture. I just put enough. If you can make it out there, there's little places in it, right? So I just put enough on here to give you an example, because I'm going to use this as a little bit of a worst case scenario. So you'll also notice that there's texture on here because of the roller that I used, and this is really thick, gloppy paint. You're used to hearing the whenever people are rolling it, right? So the formula is not going to be like that. You will see how it works. But I just wanted to tell you that if we have a surface that has a good bit of texture on it, and you'll be able to pick up that texture whenever we do our display. And the reason for that is because this formula acts as a skin. It's very thin. You're going to do very thin layers. You're going to do 4 thin layers, and it's all going to be okay. I promise you. You're going to see your first roll is going to be the ugliest paint job you've ever done probably in your life. So don't worry about it. That's good. That's fine. You'll see as we go through this that this is not about being a master. This formula has been designed to make it very easy for you to do, where you pretty much have to try to screw it up. Maybe just do some finger painting in there. I can't guarantee against that, but this should be fairly easy. All right. So first things you want to remember is when you open up the product, you want to stir it very well, okay? And what you want to do is you want to make sure you stir the bottom. Almost I do mine in a checkered pattern. I kind of go one direction from side to side, and then, the other way, side to side. And I'll do that a few times, and then make sure that you get around your edges so that you don't have stuff that's just stuck to the edges. Now, this over time, probably by the time you would receive it, it's going to look like it does when we mix it. But over time, you will have some separation there that could occur, and that's going to be because we use a combination of distilled water with something we designed here. The polymers in it are heavier. It's going to fall to the bottom over time. So your water will kind of rise to the top and separate. That water is really only there as a delivery vehicle for the product, because it's going to evaporate. What Kelly's going to do it.
That's a lie, buddy. That's a lie. I'm sorry. That water is there to thin out the paint, to give it a different texture to it, so you can tell people at the end of the day it's not a paint, it's a formula, and it has basically kind of a very thin texture to it. So basically it works something like a skin. That's all it is right there. You just put water in the paint. You do the same thing when people are trying to stretch their spaghetti sauce. People are trying to stretch their ketchup. They put a little water into it to get more punch, a little bit more stretch out of it. And people would do it with paint sometimes too. They'll put a little water in it. But this guy sat here and put in like half of that is basically water. So basically what you're doing is you're buying a watered down screen paint. That's what you're buying. That's garbage. That's absolute garbage. All right. We're done from here. We got to do this freaking challenge with Crow. We're going to do this whole if he didn't erase the page, let's see if he got rid of the page, if he got rid of the image. Image is still there. So, Jamie, we're going to give everybody the challenge. Where's the link to this thing too? This is the link right here. Yeah, that's the link right there. Good. So basically, we're going to do a challenge real quick. And then I got to talk to somebody. I got a graphic designer I got to talk to today, because like I said, because they're going to be shipping out our product, our paints, we got to have professional containers. These containers are going to have to look legit. They got to have barcodes, all this stuff. So I got to research all this crazy stuff. So that's pretty much it from there. But we're going to have a challenge on Crow's page, and it's called the Fake Screen Paint Mix Google Challenge. We invite you to go to this website go hit the click on your back button right here. You will see something at the bottom that says search Google Images right here and click. If we're lying about Jamie's fake images. And Jamie, let me ask you a question. How are you going to basically tell people at the end of the day that how are you going to come with an answer for this? Oh, I just had this here for the time being. No, you shouldn't have that there, period. Anytime you're showing up any form of screen paint product, especially when you're basically having an area where people are supposed to see how your screen paint reacts to the projector, you should never have fake images in here. You know who does this nonsense? On Amazon, when they do those white projection screens, they put those fake images in there, and they get them from someplace else. They copy and paste those right in there to make it look like you're really going to get that from the white screen or maybe from that big cheap knockoff projector. That's what they do. So let me get this straight. So Jamie's in here calling me a loser. I'm a loser at the end of the day, but yet he's in here with pictures he stole from Google to make his images look good. All right, people, let's start this challenge. Jamie, don't remove the pictures. Let me send him a message so he knows this from the door. All right. Don't remove the pictures or we'll know that you're guilty. Let's see. We'll send this over to him right now. We can always go back and get the link. So don't remove the pictures or we know you're guilty. If he removes those pictures, we already know already from the door what he did. But let's see if he's scared enough. If he runs scared, then he removes those pictures. Let's see. Where's he anyway? He's right here. Okay, here we go. Actually, no, not triggered. People like you need to be exposed. I forgot to send this message to him. People like you need to be exposed. There's nothing about being triggered. You need to be exposed. Don't remove the pictures or we'll know you're guilty. That's all to it. So, we got him here real quick. Let's ask him a question real quick while we're here. I was going to ask him about this Frankenstein thing. It's not, no one's triggered, Jamie, at the end of the day. You call it triggered, that's a Karen call. That's definitely what Karens do. When Karens are caught and they're in a situation where they can't get out of something, they always accuse other people of being triggered. Oh, you're upset, you're hostile, all that and the other. No, buddy. So we're triggered because we have you faking matching gray screen paint at the end of the day and being exposed for your products being faked. We're triggered because we found out that your images are coming from Google Images and you're not yours, they're not affiliated with your screen paint. That's triggered at the end of the day. So that means when we go to court and they slam you with them lawsuits, that means the judge is triggered, the lawyers are triggered, that's what it is? No, it's just you got caught and you got busted and now everybody's triggered, everybody's this, that, and the other because you don't want to face the fact that you are a scammer, a fraud, and a liar. That's it. I couldn't care how many times you post that. It don't bother me. Look, you think that's going to bother us and he's going to court for this. That's why I told you at the end of the day, Jamie does not basically care for his family at all. He must not. But that don't bother me at the end of the day. Why would that trigger me? That's already taken care of. We're going to court. Why would that bother me? But let's get this going with this right here. Let's go over and do the challenge for you guys. So we're going to come in. We're going to label the video. What's this, a 2.0? Metallica 2.0 fake Google pictures. No, sorry, fake screen paint mix. Jamie, hold on for a minute because we'll be right back real quick. And also, too, while we got you in here, before we leave out here real quick, I want to check out this this Frankenstein. We've been asking him over and over again about this, but he's still not answering us back on this. Why can't you use this in a we can't use it in the house? Why? What's the purpose? We bought it. Let me see what we got this at. Oh, here we got to get this out of the way first. Let's go to the Frankenstein. Frankenstein also too has fake pictures in there too, so you know. So let's go over here real quick and let's grab this right here. And let's see, it says this right here. I don't recommend this for home use unless it's up to you. Let's ask them. I'm gonna put it down here so you guys can see. We're gonna ask them, what does that mean? Misspelling errors all over the place. Can you explain what does this mean? Because I'm curious, why can't you use it in the home? I really want to know exactly why can't you use it? Why can't you? Why can't he just tell us right there? What's the problem? Let's see what we get here. All right, I'm asking you again. Okay, I don't understand. Frankenstein, put the whole thing right here. So he knows. What does this mean? Can you explain why? This is why I tell you from the door that they're just writing stuff in there. Nothing means anything. You're just writing stuff in there. There's no truth behind anything. So I'm just asking them simple and plain. Why does it, what does this mean? What does this mean? Can you explain why? So just telling them, look, this is his answer. He can't basically answer the simple question. He wrote it right there. He says right there, I don't recommend for home use unless it's up to you. So I'm asking him simple question. What does it mean? Why is it not for home use? Can you tell me? He can't explain it. Let me explain something to you, Jamie. If God gave you the ability to make screen paints on how we design them, he would basically give you the ability to explain what does that mean. Simple and plain. He's not going to give you intelligence for technology and then give you no way to explain what it's all about, because that would make him look bad at the end of the day. And God's not in the business to look bad. So I ask you a simple question. What does it mean? Can you please answer the question? Thank you. Just simple and plain. What does it mean? You wrote it in there, so you got to tell me what it means. So if you're a customer right now, say you're a customer, you're not us, you're just in there buying, or we were a customer, we did buy this, and you're asking this question from him, what's he going to say? How is he going to react? Is he just going to disconnect and not talk to you? What's he going to do? What happens if a company asks that question? How come you won't answer the question? Why can't you use it in your house? What's the problem? He says it's up to you with a question mark. All right, so I'm asking you, what are the consequences? Let's ask that one, crystal clear. What are the consequences of using this in your home? Simple and plain. This is why you don't write stuff into your specification sheet that you don't know anything about. He doesn't know. Pretty sure, let me tell you something. It's house paint, so you can use it in your home. There's nothing at all, period. Because if you can't tell us why you can't, then that means that you can. There's nothing about it. And this nonsense right here, again, another image that's not yours. Doesn't belong to you. It says right here, it belongs to Google, and it says first quarter moon HD. All right, let's copy this right here and send it over to him. The copy, I don't want to copy on that, do they? First quarter moon HD. First quarter moon HD.
These pictures should match.
Yeah, it's not his. He took it off of eBay. He took it off of Google. Do you know what this is? Do you know what this means? This is an image found on Google search. It has nothing to do with your Frankenstein screen paint. Asking a question. Does this have anything to do with the Frankenstein screen paint? He asked me, did I even go to school? Yeah, I did go to school. That's why I don't have freaking miserrors and misspellings all over my page. Like, he asked me, did I go to school? Dude, you can't even spell deliver correctly. What are you talking about? That's not about that. I asked you a simple question. He said, it's called a moon. We know it's called a moon. I asked you, where did you get the image from? Simple and plain. This is what I asked you. And you can't answer the question. Simple and plain. Asking a question. Does it have anything to do with the screen paint? Is that an image from the screen paint? Where did you get it from? And of course it's called a moon. That's what it's called. First quarter moon, HDS was the name of the imprint. What does Jamie reply when I ask him these questions? Because he says that I'm smart. Okay, well, okay. We got it right there, people. I told you. Answering, talking directly to Jamie. Asked him about the questions. He can't tell us about why you can't have the Frankenstein and a home, because again, he doesn't know what he's talking about. We show him images where he stole images off of Google, trying to make people think that's how his paint reacts. He just can't. This is all he had. This is how he's answering. This is his reaction. I want y'all to see this. It's a grown man at the end of the day. Is that pretty sad or what? This is the image he stole from Google over here, claiming this to be part of his Frankenstein products right here. Same image found over there on Google search. So, you know, if a person's going to steep that low to go in and take images from Google to make claim that this is coming from their paint, this is why you don't buy the products. This is why you stay away from them. All right, let's put this challenge in for y'all. This challenge is going to be, let me see. And if he removes it, you automatically know from the door. So you already saw it from the door if he removes it. This is going to be a challenge for anyone to go in and basically do the search for Jamie's pictures. We got it right here. We got this one right here. Let me see. We're saying here 2.0 right there. Okay, let's click on this. And let's get, there's the image right there. Perfect. So pretty much, let's come back in. Let's do the demonstration. Jamie, if you remove this, that means I'm smarter than you. And if you remove this, it means it clearly shows that you have shown an act of guilt on trying to hide evidence. So don't remove it. Leave it exactly where it's at. We're going to be posting this on several different forum sites. We're going to be posting this on Facebook. It's going to be posted on Instagram and other pages we're at. But more than likely, this is a challenge for anyone to do your research on this guy's products, that you can clearly go into his website and you can see not only you got things that are misspelled, it's an actual chaos with some of the stuff, he can't explain things correctly and does not know what he's talking about. But right there, it simply shows that Jamie is so desperate to sell screen paint products, so desperate to get sales, that he is willing to rip off pictures from Google to make his products look like something that they're not. We gave you a chance, Jamie. We did. We're not going to listen to you anymore. Now we got to treat you like a stepchild and stick you in the corner because we gave you a chance. I gave you several questionnaires. You couldn't answer any of them. So that's basically about it. Let's go put the challenge in for you guys, and I got to go do a bunch of paperwork.